Good afternoon. Ano pa nabagbati natin kasi actually 1:20 PM na dito sa Pilipinas eh. Mainit ng araw. 1 PM na po ngayong March 12. At ang ating pong inaabangan ay itong public hearing ng Committee on Franchise. Dito nga po sa Kongreso, led by Congressman Tambunting. Hindi pa nag-uumpisa pero nandun na po sila. Nandun na po yung mga ilang mambabatas. Nakita ko na sa audio si Congressman Pimentel, yung Vice Chairman. Okay. Salamat po. Kayo kanina pang nag-aantabay. Salamat. Si Estrelita, Rossi, okay na yung ating signal. So, antabayan po ninyo. At ilalay po natin kung anong kanilang mapapag-usapan dito. Na-late na. Hindi naman ho talaga eksakto ang oras ng Pilipino. Hindi tayo katulad ng ibang lahi na pag sinabing 1 o'clock talaga. Tayo nga, nakaka-21 minutes na, hindi pa nag-uumpisa eh. Ayan, pero ito, pakita ko sa inyo ilang bahagi. Ayan, sino ito? Si Atty. Tolentino yata ito ng Smni. Ayan, nandoon na. Ayan, pero hindi pa po nag-uumpisa. At kung ano man po yung mga mapapag-usapan dyan, nandun na yung mga abogado. Nandun din si Parang kumpleto na yung mga kinatawan ng management. Yung mga si Congressman, Ayan, andyan yung mga ibang congressman. Parang si Congressman Nograles ay nandun na rin. Alam nyo kung bakit? Kaya yung akin hong title ngayon, ganon. Kasi yan yung topic eh. Yan ang isa sa pag-uusapan dyan. Smni franchise, tatanggalin na ba? Tatanggalin na ba? Kaya humitanong tayo kasi desidido si Congressman Gutierrez, Congressman Rod Gutierrez. Siya po yung nag-file yung proposed bill 9710. Ang purpose no revocation, pagtanggal, pagkansela ng prangkisa. Kaya yun yung topic ngayon. Nung unang hearing, tinalakay na yan. Ayan po yung mahalagang pag-uusapan ngayon. Kaya nag-i-expect at inaasahan talaga ng ating mga congressman dumalo si Apollo Quiboloy kasi ang pinaniwalaan talaga nila ito si Quiboloy siya pa rin may-ari ng Smni. Pero ewan ko kung darating. Mukhang mga abogado lang nakikita kong nandiyan dyan eh. Bahala sila. Tingnan natin kung anong gagawin. Kung yung mga gunita, i-recap lang ho natin. Kung yung mga gunita, nung last hearing, nag-warning si Congressman Pimentel at siya rin ho ang Vice Chairman ng committee at sinabihan niya si Atty. Tolentino na sabihin sa kanyang kliyente, itong hearing na ito, next hearing, ngayon na ito, March 12, dapat umattend siya. Ayan. Pag hindi, tingnan natin kung anong gagawin. Ngayon pa lang ako nagdadatingan yung mga congressman. Medyo lit yung, alam mo na ba yung Philippine, pero hindi mo masisi mga congressman kasi alam ko yan eh. Sa dami ho ng mga hearing na kailang ngayong araw na ito, kung di ako kakamali, 4 yata o 3 yung hearing na sabay-sabay. Isibihin, meron kaninang 10 o'clock o ganon. Magkakaiba po yung hearing sa Congress sa dami nila. So yung iba kaya nalilate. Wala pa nga si Chairman Tambunting eh. Nandito yung mga Vice Chairman at mga member pa lang ho ng committee. Tingnan natin kung ano po ang kailang gagawin. Ang isa nga po sa pag-uusapan dito, hindi lang yung SMNI franchise violation, kung hindi nga pong revocation. Kasi yung pag-revoke, hindi biro yan. Yung i-revoke yung franchise, hindi ho biro yan. Hindi birong issue yan. At mayroong formal na natalakay na nga ito ng unang hearing. O ngayon ay masusundan lang. Ayun na nga po yung ano tawag yan? Proposed bill. 9710. Tandaan nyo, Congressman Rod Gutierrez po ang nag-propose niya. Bert Udang, salamat. Magitin mo natin mga pangalan habang wala pa. Hindi pa naman sila nag-umpisa. Nep Rosales Jr., Hitulia Blasa, Edna Hachimura. Okay. Lisa Reyes, Roger Romero, Valeriano Martinez, Romel Arboleda, ayan, Mel Ace, okay, Wilfredo Borbon, Isaac Lovely, Elisa Lian ba yun? Aris Maris, Selvia Jacobe, Odi Linon, ayan, Cherry Morikawa, Josie Pascua, Jose Oliva Lopez, salamat po, Rose Marie Rapanan, Cruz Vlog, yan ba yun? Agua Vlog. Ayan, dito Ray Kampara. Ayan, Ruby Soyo, salamat po. Sino itong congressman ito? Si Congressman Nograles at saka si yung party list, sino ba ito? Si Manuel, yung controversial ng party list. Usap-usap sila, Jeff Habar, Enrico Ocelios. Thank you. Romy Imboscada. Okay, salamat po By the way, papasalamat po ako sa inyo at mga iba nandito rin. Salamat, Star Salamat. Kanina umaga kasama natin sa live. Pagkatapos ng live natin na lumalabas po yung ilan na nanood 6,027. 6,027 nakasama natin ang live kanina alas 6 ng umaga. Kahapon naman 6,734, ganun talaga So, ganyan po, karami yung sumasama sa atin ang live. Okay lang po. Alam po, nagpupuyat, nagbibigay kayo ng oras, panahon, dahil sa mga nangyayari at ating inaabangan dito sa Pilipinas. Sa YouTube pa lang yan, dito ho sa Mike Abe Opinions. Ayan. Remly Siriaca. Good morning. Carlo Gabriel Aquino. Emelda Miesas. Tama? Inobebo Nabalta. Marami mga bagong pangalan tayo nakita ng ganitong oras. Rosely Iwama, salamat. Neraan Jobila, Hubila. Ayan. Sabi ni Strilita Esther Rose, iba daw ang live, buhay na buhay. Iba talaga yung buhay. Pag buhay na buhay ang dating. Ayan. Gilbert Valdez, thank you. Salamat po. Chris Cortez. Dami itong mga pangalan. Salamat po. Imelda Barulio. Okay. Tingnan natin ang ingay. Kukwento-kwentuhan sila. Nadidinig sa audio. Ingay nito mga kwento-kwentuhan nila. Mas marami ata. Nandito si Marlon Rosete, yung presidente ng Smni. Dumating. Nandyan. Si Jason San, nandyan din. Kompleto sila. Mga board of director. Sige, good luck sa inyo. Kung paano kayo sasagot yan. Sa mga question and answer. Kung aabot doon. Nita Arneo. Yolanda Velasco sa Facebook. Binabagit muna natin ito habang wala pa. Hindi pa naman nag-umpisa Carmen Charles, salamat. Chodora Gamit. Jocelyn Jacinto Ariola. Liv Lopez. Ayan. Marcelino Magtaka. Ano ba yan? Okay. Raul Haro. Salamat po. Tingnan natin sa magandang signal na magagaling dyan sa Kongreso para naman malinaw kasi kailangan malinaw ang signal para maintindihan natin kung ano yung nangyayari. Problema ala pa tagal naman, tagal gumalaw. Ala pa po. Pero at least nakikita ko na yung mga guest, mukhang maraming guest yata ngayon At saka po mga kongresista, yung iba hinihintay pa. Kanina nga doon sa briefing kasi laging merong briefing diyan sa Kongreso everyday. Binabanggit nga nila yung pinanindigan nilang dapat si Quiboloy humarap. Kung hindi haharap ngayon, tingnan natin kung anong gagawin nila. Sabi nila walang exemption, hindi exempted sa rules. Yan ang sabi ng mga congressman, lalo si Suarez. Kasi diyan ho nag-umpisa kay Dave Suarez ng Quezon Province, ni dating Governor Suarez, na dapat lang nga po, yung investigasyon na yan. Sa mga fake news, at higit sa lahat, sabi niya, hindi exempted. Walang exemption sa rules ng Congress. Kahit sino, dapat pag iniimbitahan, dumalo. Lalo na kasi business yan Franchise law ang pag-uusapan. Mananatili ba ito or talagang makakakuha ng suporta si Congressman Gutierrez na i-revoke? Mabigat po yung revocation. Hindi biro yan. Pag revocation, ibig sabihin, mababaliwala yung Republic Act 11422. Yan yung Republic Act 11422 na franchise law ng SMNI. May prangkisa sila pero suspendido, indefinite suspension ang ginawa ng National Telecommunication. Ayan, ang ganda ng attendance yata, daming dumating, mga guest na itong iba. Pinapakita yung mga guest, Ayan, inisa lang, nakaupo na yung ibang mga guest. Pero wala ka nandiyan ang ibang mga guest, pero wala pa yung chairman Baka na-traffic. Grabe, 1:30. Alauna, alas 1:30 na, 30 minutes nang nalilate. Hindi ba talagang oras ng Pilipino? Filipino time. Di ba? Okay? Emily Valdez Galano, thank you. Lucy Oberio Bilar. Ayan. Cesar Ares also watching. Sa Facebook ko yan. Sa YouTube, Bert Udang, kami nandito na. Solivin San Jose ng Alaska, USA. Mario Melendez. Lani Tataon. Tama ba yun? Tataon. John Mark Cuelo. Ayan. Orag family. Yan. Beli Umay. Ano to? May ano ha? I see. Ano yun? Judith Alaba. Aloba. Ano ba yun? Sonia Alberto. Eldrica Espinosa. Nardi. Berhel. Good afternoon. Ay, hapon ho sa Pilipinas ha. Pero alam mo itong ganitong oras, maganda rin ito sa Europe at saka nga po sa Middle East, umagang-umaga, di ba? Alas 7 yata o alas 6. Maganda. Sa Amerika naman, ay nga lang, sa Amerika, mga bandang alas 11 na yata ng gabi ngayon, 11:30 sa East Coast. Ganyan, 11:30 o alas 12 na sa East Coast. Ano ha? Doon naman sa California area, medyo magaga pa. Mga siguro alas 10. Hindi na ako sigurado, mga 9 or 10 ng hapon. O ng gabi. Gabi pala, gabi. Okay. Okay, sige. Ala pa po ala pa. Tagal naman ng oras. Kaya dito tayo may problema sa oras eh. Ito tinatawag na Filipino time. Hindi na susunod talaga eksaktong oras. Wala pa kita ko yung pinto daan ng mga congressman, wala. Ilang pa rin congressman na dumarating. Yung chairman mismo, wala pa. Okay? Baka name. Alam mo naman, isang chairman late dahil may mga nire-review yan. Pagpasok bilang upo. Yan. Lovely Loretta. Thank you. Good afternoon mula sa Hong Kong. Kamusta po yung mga taga Hong Kong, taga Japan, Taiwan, Thailand? Okay? Mga taga Malaysia, Singapore, China, South Korea, yung mga bansa dito. New Zealand, Australia, Europe, at kung saan nandun ang ating Pangulo sa Germany, at mga bansa sa Amerika. Ayan na. Lumalakad na ho si Tambonting. Kilala niya, naglalakad na yung sa gitna. Ayan ho, yan ho yung chairman. Ayan ho yung chairman. Yan. So, baka nga kwento-kwentuhan. Sino kausap? Si Congressman Rodrigo Gutierrez yata itong kausap. May kauupo, kausap po. Ayan. Anyway, tingnan natin, at least dumating na yung chairman. Tingnan natin kung magre-resume na ba ang hearing na ito. Abangan natin. Okay? Ang ganda ito. Tingnan natin kung anong mangyayari. Papayag ba sila na wala si Quiboloy? Kung wala, kung nandiyan naman, kung darating, pero malabo yata dumating talaga. Ayaw. Pag ayaw. Hindi tayo magagawa. Kung ayaw, anong gagawin ng Kongreso? Ulit-ulit na sinasabi ni Pimentel at saka ni Suarez at ng iba pa, hindi pwede. Kailangan susunod. No exemption. Yun. Ayan. Okay? Ayan Magandang hapon daw. Dadasal mo na. Ayan na. So, order. Ayan natin ano pa ito? May prayer pa. Okay may prayer pa. Importante yan. Kukunin po natin audio kasi baka maka-copyright tayo. Alam niyo kasi marami kahit na sa House of Representatives ano tawag dito, yung communication baka maka-copyright tayo. So siguro audio ang ating kukunin. Paliwanag lang natin kung sino sasalita. Tingnan natin Amen. Ayan. Basta, ang dasal. Uy, nandun si Marlon Acobo. Yung bago daw pumalit. Kayang mag-iliw pa. Bayang mag-iliw.
Lupa ng araw ng walhati pagsinta sa piling mo.
Yan lang po kayo mukhang yung ibang mga puyat, baka mapuyat tayo, hindi natin alam kung anong oras matatapos ito. Pero siguro hindi ko alam magtatagal yan. Nagkakaroon pa po ng mga attendance yan kung sino ang present na guest, yung ano, ganyan po yung proseso
So now call the board of members. Dispense with the motion.
Yung attendance pa yan kung sino bang mga congressman present, sino bang mga congressman ang dumalo.
Members present in this
Good afternoon. In today's meeting, we have the following members in attendance. Senior Deputy Speaker Aurelio Gonzalez Jr. We also have the Vice Chairperson Charity Pimentel. Congressman Ricardo Estes Jr. Congressman Raul Daniel Manuel. Congressman Ramon Rodrigo Gutierrez. Congressman Agustina Dominic C. Pancho. We also have Congresswoman Antoinette Videla, Congresswoman Margarita Ignacia Nogales, Congresswoman Francina Castro, Congresswoman Michelle Simpson, and Congressman Joseph Steven Espanmano.
Yan na. At dami ang attendance.
The committee has a calendar today, continuing discussion on several measures,
Sige nga, pakinggan natin.
including House Resolution number 230. Entitled the resolution condemning the fake news spreading and cases targeting individuals, groups, and organizations by Sunshine Media Network International, thereby endangering their lives and democratic rights, and urging the National Telecommunications Commission to authorize the House of the status of complaints against Smni pending before you, authored by the Honorable Representative Frank Castro, our process in the whole Daniel Manuel. House Resolution number 1428.
Mga resolution pa yung nag-discuss.
The fake news spreading and many cases targeting the basis against activist parties. Representative Frank Castro by Rodrigo Duterte and Sunshine Media Network International, and urging MPC to investigate the incident of media and journalism standards and existing laws authored by the Honorable Arlene Rosas, Raul Daniel Manuel of France Castro. The privilege speech of the representative on the representative regarding the immediate investigation of the fake news spreading of Smni against House Speaker Martin Romualdez, the House Bill number 9710, entitled an act revoking the legislative franchise granted to Suarez Media Corporation operating under business name Sunshine Media Network International, defeating for the purpose Republic Act number 114422, entitled an act renewing for another 25 years the franchise granted to Suarez Media Corporation under the Republic Act 812. For several months now, this committee has conducted its inquiry about Suarez Media Corporation and its operations leading to discoveries of violations of section 10, 12, 10, 11, 12, and 4 of this franchise agreement. The committee is also aware that concurrent with its investigation is a parallel inquiry being conducted by the Senate, which has yielded other very serious allegations against SMNI, including sexual abuses, human trafficking, labor exploitation, and other physical abuses.
Hindi problema sa Senate, nabanggit.
Na ang mga empleyado ng SMNI ay nagkatrabaho sa stasyon sa umaga pero pinagpalimos.
Wow. Pati pala yung issue sa Senado, kasama rin dito.
Hindi siya pinabayar ng pangong sweldo ng SMNI akurat sa PhilHealth at SSS benefits. These are very grave allegations which have very much concern among the members of this committee and the Philippine people.
So pati pala yung issue sa Senado, meron kasama na.
Justice decision to charge Pastor Quiboloy in sexual abuse of a minor in violation of Republic Act number 7610 or the Anti-Child Abuse Law and qualified human trafficking and other acts of child abuse. Taken in totality, the members of this committee are very concerned about the findings made by the Senate and by the DOJ as they reveal heinous crimes committed by persons behind Suarez Corporation. Throughout these proceedings, we have consistently requested the presence of Suarez Corporation's current and past leadership, and to give them an opportunity to clarify and provide
Past
answers
leadership.
to the inquiries asked by the House members. We are once again given that opportunity to hear their side today. The Committee on Legislative Franchise, with its mandate, must ensure the privilege of the franchise given to those who have complied with our laws, and have worked for the good of the Filipino people. As always, it is common good that the committee continues to try for in this process. Maraming salamat po.
Dami palang issue Mga resolution, pati yung issue sa Senado, meron din palang resolution ng House. Naitakil na rin. So SMNI, di man violation of franchise, revocation, tsaka yung issue sa mga manggagawa, ang dami na rin pala. Ang daming issue naman ito. So, pati yung mga employees ng SMNI, talakayin na rin pala. Yung mga hindi daw pinasusuweldo. Wow. So marami. Nanipis naman ang boses ng Congresswoman isa. Sino ba yan? Sabi yun? Layo sa mikropono, kaya nipis. Secretary General pala yun. Sorry. Secretariat ng committee.
From the MTRCP, we have from ADP, we have Attorney Global. From the NDC COA, we have Mr. John Aguirre and Ms. Jimmy Sadam. From SMNI, we have Pastor Marlon Acomo and Executive Pastor of the Eastern Conference.
Wala. Pinabanggit po yung mga invited.
We also have the members of the board of SMNI, Ludmila Godoy, Ms. Cristina San Pedro, Ms. Maurice Nicolasen,
Naayos lang ang sounds po.
Hannah J. Sancho,
Manipis yung budyo.
Attorney Mark Pilipina, Attorney Lawrence Supico. We also have the executive staff of KOJC, Attorney Luis Ambrosio, the president of SMNI, Dr. Mario Rosete, and counsel of KOJC, Attorney Ferdinand Pasio. We also have a consultant of SMNI, the person of Mr. J. Songsa.
So, kompleto. NTC, management, ang wala lang si Quiboloy. Talaga wala dito, no? Tingnan natin kung anong gagawin nila.
part of each of the chair of ISIS. The setting of Eagles Park is one of the things in the concert. And of course, walking in is the hardworking and good-looking congressman of Quezon City, the Deputy Majority Leader, the Honorable Franz Pumarin. So now we proceed.
Mr. Chair,
The Honorable Franz Castro is recognized, ma'am.
I can remember, Mr. Chair, we asked to
Sounds clear.
sermon or invite Pastor Quiboloy. So what's the status of him?
Hinahanap na si Quiboloy.
Mr. Chair, I would like to raise that
Yung sounds natin okay na. Salamat po sir.
the last hearing, February 7,
Ayan na, si Congressman Pimentel.
not scheduled for the present during the hearing. This committee issued a subpoena to Pastor Quiboloy because of his non-appearance on the several invitations that we sent him. And I can see that again, Pastor Quiboloy is no-show in this hearing. Now,
Ayan na.
it is very clear under the House rules,
Yun.
especially in rules of governing procedure on inquiries in aid of legislation. Section 11, the committee may punish any person for contempt
Makinig na tayo.
by a majority of members present, specifically on Section A, refusal without legal excuse to obey summons, and Section E, acting in a disrespectful manner. In this case, although he is not present, but the fact that he has not been appearing in these hearings, in this committee, just shows that he has no respect for this committee. It just shows that he acts like God, he acts with impunity, he takes this hearing for granted. Ipinagwawalang banahalan niya, importante yung siya dito. So in this case, Mr. Chair,
Ayan na.
kahit na mag-hearing pa tayo ng 20 beses, kahit na 20 beses natin imbitahin si Pastor Quiboloy, it is very clear that he has no intention whatsoever of appearing.
Ayan, si Congressman Pimentel po yan, Vice Chairman.
Therefore, Mr. Chair, under House rules, it is our obligation to show these people to take this committee for granted the sanctions that could be meted under our House rules. Therefore, Mr. Chair, I move to cite for contempt Pastor Quiboloy on the grounds which I have stated. So move, Mr. Chair. There's a motion by the Honorable
Ayan na, contempt.
yes, the Honorable
With the indulgence of the good Congressman Pimentel, with regards to this motion, I have nothing against it, but it's proper siguro na we might ask the representative of Quiboloy, then we will rule on that particular motion.
Ayun. Okay.
With the,
Tatanungin muna yung side ng mga
the Honorable
management.
Paduano, the Honorable Pimentel will defer and hold the abeyance. I yield to the request. And
Ayun.
the Honorable Attorney Topacio, magandang hapon po sa inyo.
Magandang hapon po, Mr. Chair, Your Honor.
Abogado ni Quiboloy.
May I be recognized, Your Honor?
Yes, you are.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, with respect to the motion and with all due respect, we believe we have provided legal justification for the non-presence of Pastor Apollo Quiboloy in our letter to the committee, Your Honor. Wherein the gist of it states that based on the previous hearings of this honorable committee, we have an idea of the information being required, and we have stated in this letter, Your Honors, very respectfully, that Pastor Quiboloy for around 4 years now has had no hand whatsoever in the running of SMNI, whose franchise is under consideration, Your Honor. Instead, to show our good faith and our due respect to this honorable committee and to show that we are not evading the subpoena, Your Honors, we have brought with us three persons who are in the best position, more than Pastor Quiboloy, and who have been the ones active since 2022 in the affairs of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ, which are the current executive pastor of the KJOC and his top staff, Attorney Eunice Ambrosio and Maria Norfeli Marimon, Your Honors. So, with respect to the kingdom, they are the ones who possess the necessary competence to answer whatever questions this honorable committee may throw at them, Your Honors.
Mr. Chair, we understand the explanation of Attorney Topacio, but the fact still remains that Pastor Quiboloy has not appeared in this committee. You are presenting actually three persons that you have just mentioned to explain whatever questions or whatever clarifications are needed. As you have stated, they are well versed with regards to the operations of Swarasu. But the matter at hand, Mr. Chair, I believe, it still remains is a non-appearance of Pastor Quiboloy. Of course, Mr. Chair, we will entertain or we will ask questions to your substitute resource persons. But Mr. Chair, I still insist my motion, my earlier motion, I again reiterate, I move to sign for contempt Pastor Quiboloy, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much,
Wala, tinuloy pa rin yung kanyang motion.
Your Honor, we will always submit to the discretion of the committee with just a very respectful and gentle reminder, Your Honors, that in the very recent case of Ong versus Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, the Supreme Court has ruled that before any person is held in contempt of the house or any committee thereof, he must be given due process, meaning a chance to explain, Your Honor. We are just invoking this right on behalf of Pastor Quiboloy because our Constitution itself states that the rights of persons invited to congressional hearings should be respected, Your Honor. That is all that we ask, Your Honor. Nothing else.
Thank you, Attorney Topacio. Just for the information of everyone, Pastor Quiboloy has been invited as far back as December. Several invitations has been given to him.
Yeah, yung due process.
He has not appeared, which prompted the Honorable Pimentel to he filed a motion for him to subpoena Pastor Quiboloy because of his non-appearance in previous hearings. So I think as far as due process is concerned, we have complied with. As a matter of fact, because of his absence, I'm so familiar already with Attorney Mark Tolentino. Okay, and I'm of course the idol of everyone, the guy that invented the rules of the House, the Honorable Rolex Suplico, who is also here, who I used to read in the newspapers when I was in elementary. And now it's an honor to see him in our hearings. That's why ako po as far as pag-ikot due process, matter of fact po, marami pong mga katanungan, marami pong hindi masagot, at lagi po sabi hindi na kaya sagutin. No? And which really, I think, mahaba namang proseso na binigay po namin para po sa kanyang pagpunta ko dito. At kami naman po ay kung baka na-extend na po namin. As a matter of fact, naubos sa lahat ng mga pwedeng maitanong. Dahil naitanong sa dami pong hearings na hinondakta po ng committee Attorney Topacio.
Chairman Tambuntin po yung nagsasalita. Gina-justify niya yung due process ginawa na niya. Sa maraming invitation, hindi naman dumating.
Pamaraan ay binigay po namin sa kanila. So, maraming salamat Attorney Topacio. Wala na po kayo yung manifest. May tanong lang po ko. Alam po, pwede po ba akong magtanong?
Of course, you're the chairman.
Siyempre. Kasi pwede na po namin yung subpoena February 20, no? At ito'y publicize naman. At bakit po sa March 11 na po kayo nagpadala ng sulat? At nauna po ang media kasi tumatawag po sa akin ang media. At ang sabi ko sa kanila, hindi ko po pwede sagutin yan dahil wala po akong natatanggap na sulat. True enough, sinek yung records, natanggap po namin yung sulat nyo kahapon, March 11. Tapos may amended letter.
Ako, naloko ng late pala yung sulat.
Para po yung isang abogado ninyo. So, why did it take you so long to write us that letter?
Kasi po, hindi po ako involved, Mr. Chair, doon sa previous mga hearings. So, nireview ko pa po yung video ng mga hearings para mapagtanto ko po kung ano yung mga maaring itanong based on the trend. At yun nga po, coupled with the fact that Pastor Quiboloy has been out of the day-to-day or even the general operations of SMNI or Suarasud, Your Honor, because he has decided to concentrate on purely spiritual matters, ay lumiham po kami. Yung unang liham po kasi, pasensya na po kayo, we meant no disrespect to the committee, Mr. Chair. Kaya lang, noong ibibigay na po namin dito, napansin po namin yung typographical errors lang naman po, kaya ni-revise po namin.
Which was received today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Typographical errors lang po.
That's why the first letter we received March 11. The second letter we received today at the day of the hearing.
Opo, maybe.
Yes.
Pero it's basically the same, Your Honor. We did not want to spring any surprise. It's just typographical errors, Your Honor.
Thank you very
We
much.
apologize because of the tight schedule of this representation. We profoundly apologize to the committee and to the chair.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Before I continue, the chair will recognize the Deputy Speaker, the Honorable David J.J. Suarez. Welcome, sir. The Honorable Franz Pumarin is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Address lang pong question kay Atty. Topacio. I'm quite baffled dahil you mentioned that kaya hindi pupunta dahil wala siya doon sa day-to-day activity, yung pagtatakbo ng SMNI, hindi niya alam. In fact, there are 3 resource speakers that can answer that. My main question lang here, kung gano'n naman pala, may invitation siya, bakit ayaw niyang pumunta? Then, let him explain to us kung ano talaga ang role niya doon sa SMNI. And aside from that, probably there are still other questions that can be raised.
Sabihin, hindi naman busy. Bakit ayaw umaten? Parang ganon.
Baffling on my part, na bakit ayaw niyang pumunta? Na kung confident naman siya na he has no idea how yung SMNI operates day-to-day basis. Yun lang po, Mr. Chairman.
Actually, I respond, Mr. Chair. Actually po, huwag niyo na po sisihin si Pastor, ako na po sisihin niyo, Honorable Franz Pumarin, sapagkat ako po yung nagpayo sa kanya. While the details of the advice may be covered by lawyer-client privilege, ako po yung sabi kay Pastor na since ang nakikita ko po sa trend ay tungkol naman sa alleged violations ng prangkisa ng SMNI, ay since wala naman tayo yung kinalaman at ang inyong titulo na honorary chairman ay purely honorific as the name suggests, sabi ko, upang hindi naman, paipakita naman natin na ginagalang po natin yung proseso ng kagalang-galang na politik ito, ay tayo na po magdala ng mga tao na maaaring makasagot dun sa mga yon. Ngayon po, I want to take this opportunity with the kind indulgence of my congressman in Parañaque, the chair. Kung mamarapatin nyo lamang naman po, kami po ay magalang na umihiling na baka naman po mga kagalang-galang na kinatuan na bigyan po na naman kami. Kahit konting panahon lang po na pagpaliwanag at baka naman po makausap ko rin siya at baka naman po makita niya na baka naman pwede siyang dumating sa susunod.
Ikaw pala nag-advise na huwag punta eh.
Kahit konting pagkakataon lamang po, rest assured that we will be prompt in our response, Mr. Chair and members of the Honorable Committee. In fact, I'm scheduled to tomorrow, Your Honors, if I may inform this honorable committee, and I will advise him accordingly. Honorable Kumare, please.
Thank you, Attorney Pasio. Mr. Chairman, just for the record,
Yes.
nakailan invitation na ba tayo kay tatlo?
Tatlong invitation na po tayo. Before we recognize the next interpolator, the chair recognizes the Honorable Arlene Rosas. Welcome, ma'am, to the committee hearing. And who else is here? The Honorable Ino D. is here. Welcome to the
Mr. Chair,
The Honorable
Mr. Chair, we're just prolonging this issue. We know very well that kahit na yung pagsabihin ni Atty. Topacio, he was hired by Pastor Quiboloy as a legal counsel. It's his job to delay this contempt. Alam naman natin, Atty. Topacio, kahit na sa'yo, naniniwala ba kayong sisipot si Pastor Quiboloy? These are just delaying tactics. Even
Naloko
though
na.
mag-hearing na naman tayo next, iba na namang rason ng nila ibibigay. Mag-hearing na naman tayo kapitong hearing, ibang rason na naman. When will this be concluded? As I've said, Mr. Chair, it is incumbent upon this committee. It is our obligation under the rules that we should cite him for contempt to compel him to appear in this
Ayaw pumayag ni Pimentel.
Again, on my second...
Congressman Johnny Pimentel.
actually on my third
Surigao.
reiteration, Mr. Chair, my motion still stands.
Thank you.
Just a point of clarification on
Congressman
the
Suarez.
statements made by Attorney Topacio. By the way, congratulations on your movie.
Thank you, sir.
You mentioned that you're off to see the good pastor tomorrow.
Yes, Your Honor.
So that confirms that he's still in the Philippines.
Yes, of course, Your Honor. He is not going anywhere, Your Honor.
Kasi may mga balita na nag-ibang bansa na daw siya at
Ay, hindi po. Pagpatakuha po ako na i-clap at ipa-viber ko po sa mga members ng ating.
I trust you, Attorney
And thank you po. I appreciate that, sir.
You know, I just wanted to reiterate, Mr. Chair, you know, we've been having this hearing since December of last year. November of last year. So, long playing album na po ito kasi November,
Topacio pala nag-advise na huwag dumalo.
February, March, I think.
May mga
This can already be part of
binabanggit siya sa ruling ng Supreme Court. Ano ko na.
the longest hearings. This just goes to show the leniency and the patience the Committee on Franchise has afforded to SMNI, to Suarezo, when it comes to complying with requests that have been forwarded to you. So, on his proper time, Mr. Chair, I would second the motion of Congressman Pimentel.
Thank you, the Honorable
Mr.
Suarez.
Chair.
The Honorable Caraps Paduano, then the Honorable Aline.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And the Honorable Franz Castro.
Anyway, Mr. Chairman, I will not anymore argue with
May second demotion na.
Topacio with regards to the jurisprudence regards to Senate versus Song, but in the proper time, just in case, we can talk about it. And when in fact, pati na yung banat, pwede natin pag-usapan ng banat case yan. But anyway, Mr. Chairman, ganito lang po. Kasi the legal counsel of Pastor Quiboloy is asking for a reconsideration. Is that correct?
We are asking for time to explain, Your Honor, because as the rules state, the failure to appear must be without legal justification. So we are willing in whatever time allotted to us, Your Honors, so as to obviate any suspicion that this representation is delaying. Actually, ayoko nga pong ma-delay. May lakad po ako pinaka-prod ng misis ko next week eh. Pero as kung kinakailangan po ay isakripisyo po natin yon. Ngunit, I also understand the misgivings of the Honorable Johnny Pimentel that indeed these hearings have been going on for quite some time. But ang aking lamang po, Your Honor, is perhaps the committee would rather err on the side of constitutional rights rather than expediency. Yun naman po ang aking humble appeal sa at sa chair at saka sa mga miyembro ng committee nito. Salamat po.
Mr. Chairman, actually, question of the appeal of the lawyer. Pwede naman po, pero pwede naman po lagyan natin ng kolektiba that will cite Pastor Quiboloy in contempt, but it will be lifted depending on the cooperation of Pastor Quiboloy, because we have done that for the past several contempt orders. But still, Pastor Quiboloy will be cited in contempt in today's hearing.
We will always bow, as I said, Your Honor, to the discretion of the Honorable Committee, of course, subject to my humble reiteration of our appeal, Your Honor.
Thank you, Attorney.
Tapasio, the chair recognizes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, before I call the next interpreter, the chair recognizes the presence of Juan Carlos Arjo Atayde of the 1st District of Quezon
Quezon
City.
City. May dumating na ba akong puno sa pero dami na nila.
Kong Atayde and our Deputy Speaker, Christine Singson Mihan of the 3rd District of Ilocos Sur. Welcome, ma'am, to this.
Deputy Speaker.
The Honorable Jude Asidres. The Honorable
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Francis.
So, hindi na po natin pakinggan yung yung alibay ni Attorney Topacio. Nasabi na po, pero marami na pong pronouncement si Pastor Quiboloy in media na hindi talaga siya dadalo sa anumang mga hearing sa sa Kongreso. So narinig na po natin. Kaya tama po ang ating colleague na parang nagde-delay na lang yung ginagawa. Tapos mahalaga po yung mga question kasi with the development ngayon, Mr. Chair, di ba? Yung pinapasa niya, yung stake niya sa KOJ kay dating Presidente Duterte. So kailangan nating malaman yan kasi may kinalaman sa ownership, which is our topic nun sa SMNI. Kaya kailangan niya talagang pumunta rito. At hindi pwede yung sinasabing tatlo na magsasalita for him. Kaya kailangan niya umapil dito, Mr. Chair.
Honorable Julia Siner of Tingog Party List.
Mr. Chair, I would tend to agree with Mr. Topacio if this were a Blue Ribbon Committee hearing. Unfortunately, this is a committee hearing that centers on the continuance of a privilege of a franchise given to SMNI, and but the testimony of Pastor Apollo Quiboloy, given the part of the original franchise, is material to the discussion. And I think this is no longer a question of rights, Mr. Chair. This is a question of duty, that by accepting the granted privilege, SMNI is compelled to carry out. That includes Pastor Apollo Quiboloy being one of the grantees in the earlier franchises given to SMNI. And therefore, I will join the Honorable Suarez in seconding the motion of the Honorable Pimentel, Mr. Chair.
The Honorable Attorney Topacio.
Maybe in the future, Your Honor.
You're clear on that.
Levity aside, Your Honors, with all due respect to the good Congressman Asidre, the ruling of the Supreme Court applies to all hearings, either of the Senate or of the House of Representatives. Secondly, with respect to the point of the good Congresswoman Franz Castro, the same is well taken actually, Your Honors. As in fact, in the case of Senate versus Ermita, the Supreme Court said that the questions and the proposed legislation should be attached to the subpoena. The proposed legislation is already public, so that is out there, Your Honors. But perhaps, Representative Castro, if we could be furnished proposed questions, and if these questions cannot be answered by the three representatives here, and we are invoking this with all due respect, based on the doctrine of Senate versus Ermita, then we can determine, and then, well, Your Honors, if the legal justification provided by Pastor Quiboloy is not sufficient in the eyes of this committee, then of course it may proceed according to its rules. But in the meantime, again, we apologize for taxing the patience of the committee. We again humbly appeal for due process in this case, Your Honor.
Thank you very much,
Chairman,
the Honorable Haharapin.
anyway, binuksan na rin yan ni Topacio, Atty. Topacio. Anyway,
Yes,
di ba
Your Honor.
kasi yung circumstances with regards to Senator Ong? Kasi si Ong gumano eh. He was not given due process. Etong case ni Pastor Quiboloy, hindi siya gumano. He disrespect this committee. And yung question of legal excuse by attending this committee, okay, I will tell it to you, attorney. I will tell it to you. But hindi ko sinasabi na tama ka. But we can also impose letter F, undue interference. We can impose undue interference, not letter A.
Well, Your Honor, as I said, we will always submit.
Kaya nga eh, kasi you defended it with our colleague here.
Yes,
Yung mga pag-usapan dapat eh. Sabi ko, gusto ko pag-usapan natin sa gilid eh, pati yung balat. kasi you invoke Ong. In which circumstances is different. Because Ong attended the hearing. Magkaiba yun, attorney, di ba?
That's why I
That's why,
raised,
attorney, we will end this debate. With regards to your appeal, ako nga, sabi ko nga eh.
Nabibitin yung contempt, pero nakahang pa rin po yun. Hinibigyan ng pagkakataon yung abogado ni Quiboloy, si Pasio.
Pastor Quiboloy, if he cooperates with this committee, then so good. We can lift that, that contempt. But if you will invoke those jurisprudence, wala tayong, yun na nga yung Ong eh.
yes, Your Honor. That's why as I said, Your Honor, we submit always to the discretion of the committee. And there is really no desire on the part of this representation to debate. We're just stating what we feel to be the rights of my client, as it is my duty and obligation as his lawyer, Your Honor. We have no quarrel with the committee. As I've said, the committee will do what it has to do under the rules. We just want to make this humble appeal, Your Honors. That is all. Thank you, Mr. Chair and Representative Paduano.
Yes, thank you very much. The Honorable J.J. Suarez recognized.
Attorney Topacio, can I just ask,
Yes, Your Honor.
why does the good pastor refuse to come?
To be candid, Your Honor, to this committee, he is apprehensive that his rights may not be respected because of the frenzy surrounding the investigation, Your Honor. And besides, Your Honor, he said that if they ask me and I do not know, there are other people who know about the information, then it might be futile for me to appear before the committee.
I think that's the very problem, Attorney Topacio. He's assuming something that has not yet happened. Throughout the whole series of hearings we've had, I think the committee has been handling themselves properly, legally, giving all the resource persons due process. So I don't think any rights would have been violated if he presented himself. Number two, to assume that he does not know the answers to the questions, when in fact he doesn't even know the questions yet, is false to hold on to, because I myself have questions to ask to the good pastor. And I believe the person that he has sent might not be of the position to answer my questions, because they were not present in the SEC documents. Their names were not present in the SEC documents that were submitted to the Committee on Franchise. So how can that obligation be passed on to them? So again, I'm asking, on numerous times that he has been invited, why does he not come?
If I may respond to that, Mr. Chair, may I respond, Mr. Chair?
Bakit daw hindi dumadadating? Ayan, sagutin mo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, Your Honor, that is why precisely we are asking for a general, not a detailed line of questioning, but just the general questions under Ermita, Your Honors. Number two, Your Honors, we agree with the committee, but Your Honors, please, with respect to the points raised, with all due respect, Pastor Marlon Acobo has been mentioned since 1922 in the submissions to the Securities and Exchange Commission because in the 2022, Your Honors, because as far back as that time, he has been appointed as the new executive pastor of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ with respect to the day-to-day affairs of recent vintage, Your Honor. With respect to the others, Your Honor, there are other officials of Suarasug and SMNI who are here, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Attorney.
Yes, Your
Mr.
Honor.
Chair, yes, I think we're treading on very dangerous waters because this will be setting a precedent to future hearings that will happen in the House. If we allow this, therefore, anytime in the future, when a resource person does not feel the need to present himself,
Ako,
magpapadala na lang ako ng
Ako na.
magsalita ako.
sa mga
Isang
president
ko
daw.
na lang muna yung matanong ninyo, i-review ko, tapos saka tayo bumalik sa usapan. That's a very dangerous precedent to set,
Ayan na.
Mr. Chair.
President na.
Because once we allow that, therefore all committees will allow that. Therefore all committees will allow resource persons not to present themselves. Therefore all committees will allow advanced questions to be forwarded to resource persons before coming to the committees. And that destroys the very nature and essence of having committee hearings, where we have to find out and ferret the truth and the information that we need in order for us to come up with the proper decisions to make, Attorney Topacio.
Yes, well,
So that's just my
sorry.
point, Mr. Chair, no? So tungkol po dun sa sinabi ni Attorney Topacio. Point of order, Mr. Chair.
What is the point of order?
The Honorable Isidro.
Mr. Chair, I would like to inquire lang in what capacity is Attorney Tapasio, no due respect, Attorney Tapasio is addressing the committee. Is he here as counsel to Pastor Apollo Quiboloy or counsel to the KOJ?
Attorney Tapasio.
Yes, Honorable Asidre, I'm here as counsel for the Kingdom of Jesus Christ and also as a general counsel of Pastor Apollo Quiboloy, Your Honor. Thank you.
Can you explain when you said I am counsel for KOJC and a general counsel for, what is that?
Yes, I will explain, Your Honor.
Yeah, you use the word counsel for one and general counsel for the second, for Pastor Quiboloy.
Yes, I will explain, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes.
The Kingdom of Jesus Christ is a corporation soul under Section 107 of the revised Corporation Code.
Okay.
So, as a juridical entity, it is entitled to legal representation, which is this representation, Your Honor, in all of the legalities involving the Kingdom of Jesus Christ since not too long ago, Your Honor.
General
Now,
Counsel.
with respect to Pastor
Okay.
Quiboloy as an individual, I advise him on general facets of the law, but he has also other counsels with respect to other cases involving him. That is what this representation meant by general legal counsel, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I made that inquiry, Mr. Chair, because I would like to ask if the rules of the committee allow for legal counsels to speak on behalf of the resource person, Mr. Chair. That's a good question.
Go ka na.
May I ask the consent to please provide the rules?
Sure.
Anyway, the Honorable Carraps is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman, under our tradition, we allow if the chair and the committee allows. No, but when in fact, as of now, we're discussing with regards to the inquiry in aid of legislation. Now, sabi ko, Attorney Tapasio, we're solving yan. Because this is the first time that you attended this hearing and supposedly you said taking an oath. Because speaking on behalf of the invited resource person.
Yes, I will.
And in fact, again, if the chairman will not allow you to speak on behalf of Pastor Quiboloy, you cannot speak. And you cannot, again, it's if you, it's a debate, if you want again, the due process of being here in this committee, eh, sabi ko nga, and under our tradition, our internal rules, we allow lawyers to speak. If the chair will allow you to speak.
I totally agree with you, Your Honor.
And second, sabi ko nga, napakalinya pa nga namin because supposedly before speaking, you should have taken your oath.
Yes, I totally agree with you, Your Honor. There is no debate, Your Honor.
Just to clarify the query of our colleague. Thank you.
Totally agree. And I am very thankful for this committee for its leniency, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
So, before we proceed,
We have already discussed this thoroughly. Lumalayo na po tayo eh.
Oo nga.
anyway,
Ang motion ko, iba na yung mga tanong, may legal counsel pa. Let us first act on my motion.
Oo nga.
We are already almost one out, but we have not yet acted on my motion.
thank you very much, Honorable Pimentel. I just wanted to give everyone a chance to speak before a vote is taken on the motion of contempt. And we just like to make it clear that, just to show you, attorney, as we have seen since November, this has always been the atmosphere. We gave everyone the chance to speak.
Nagsalita na si Pimentel. Nabitin nga naman yung motion niya eh. Dami na kung saan nakarating ang usapan.
Attorney Mark, Attorney Rolex was given the chance to speak. So, kung airtime lang po pag-usapan, mas marami po kayo airtime kaysa po, no? At kami po ay, kasi yun naman ito naging policy, we want to ferret out the truth. Ang problema, may mga tanong talaga na lagi pong sagot sa amin, hindi po kaya sagutin. Kaya po, nag-motion po si Congressman Pimentel. As a matter of fact, just to prove our point, it took me 3 weeks. We gave you 3 weeks for him to appear. We didn't give you 1 week. We didn't give you 2 weeks. We gave you more than 3 weeks for him to appear, no? From the time that the last hearing, usually 1 week lang po yan, pinapa-appear na po namin. Ito po 3 linggo ang binigay ng committee. And even up to now, you can see na ini-entertain po namin kayo. No?
Yung motion, haba ng usapan eh. Motion, reject ba o ano? Ano mga gawin?
Pinapakinggan mo namin yung sinasabi niyo.
Maraming salamat po.
As far as due process concerned, pagiging nyo naman, hindi nyo pwedeng, we did not fall short as far as the due process concerned. And on section 13, yes, we were allowing you to speak. And council is allowed.
On record naman, pinamin niya. Siya pala nag-advise eh, yung council eh. O,
The committee.
hindi talaga pupunta yung...
Maraming salamat at kayo na hong pangatlong, may tanong lang po pala ako. Kayo po
Yes,
pangatlong
sure.
abogado, Attorney Rolex, Attorney Mark, kayo na po. Kayo po ba'y abogado lang, hindi po kayo direktor ng KOJC?
Hindi po. Actually, I became the General Counsel, Your Honor, of
Puro si Tapasio, wala namang mangyayari dyan.
2021, if memory serves, Your Honor.
Okay.
So this is not my first
Yung
time.
motion, anong bagal itong chairman talaga oh.
And of course, again, Mr. Chair.
Pwede namang i-reject yung motion, pwede approvean. Yun lang yung gusto malaman ng tao.
My vote in 2025.
Aming paikot.
Thank you very much, Attorney Tapasio.
Relax.
The Honorable Gutierrez is recognized.
Yan, si Ator, yan, abogado yan.
To go on about soon. Just ask Attorney Gutierrez.
Gutierrez, yan po yung nasa likod ng revocation bill.
For the consideration of the body, because I
Proposed Bill 9710.
Congressman Pimentel mentioned that the contempt order that we are considering could be based on sole absence alone. However, I would just like to add for our consideration as a body that there are still material questions as to 2019, 2020, and 2021, which I believe would warrant the attendance. Now, his choice not to attend on the presupposed trend that they already know what we would ask, I would have to share my skepticism po, no? Because precisely, as I mentioned, we still have material questions during the duration of his being executive pastor. So something lang po for the body to consider. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, the Honorable Arlene Rosas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, isa po kasi ako sa mga nag-request, di ba? Na ano, so rejoinder lang po kay sa issue ng contempt. Mr. Chair, huwag kayo nanayag na by substitution. Hindi naman talaga natin ginagawa yan, Mr. Chair. It has not been our procedure ng mga nakaraan. Kaya gusto ko lang sabihin, Mr. Chair, no, na itong sulat na pinadala sa committee hinggil sa ating sabina, si Mr. Marlon Acobo, Executive Pastor daw ng Kingdom of Jesus Christ, siyang sasagot. Mr. Chair, nung nag-usap naman tayo last time dito, sinabi natin, hindi talaga yon kakayanin sagutin ng mga representatives na pinadala. So, Mr. Chair, again, I will join our DS sa kanyang motion. And Mr. Chair, again, maraming salamat kay Honorable Johnny Pimentel for
Second demotion. Second demotion na eh. Ano gagawin niya?
Again, motioning for the contempt of Pastor Apollo Quiboloy.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Arlene Brosas. The parliamentary status is that there is a motion by the Honorable Johnny Pimentel, duly seconded by the Honorable J.J. Suarez, the Honorable Julita Sidre, the Honorable Franz Castro, the Honorable Arlene Brosas, and of course, our Senior Deputy Speaker, the Honorable Don Gonzales. That being the case, there is a motion, duly seconded. Any objections?
Wow.
The chair here
Walang objection.
On a unanimous vote. The Honorable Pastor Quiboloy is cited for contempt.
Ayun na, contempt nga po. Walang objection. Walang Robin Padilla sa Congress eh. De joke lang. Ako, ano nangyari? Anak, contempt na po. Hindi ho na-justify ni Atty. Topacio yung kanyang mga alibay at mga dahilan.
To the interpretation, we can now discuss the
So, contempt.
So we will now proceed to another subject matter. And this is the House Bill number
9710.
9710. Ako, revocation yan. Yan yung proposed bill ni Rodriguez to revoke franchise law. Proposed bill 9710. Ayan na po, tinatakil na. Si Gutierrez po ang
House
principal.
Bill number 9710, introduced by Representative Ramon Rodrigo L. Gutierrez, titled An Act Revoking the Legislative Franchise Granted to Suarasud Media Corporation, operating under the business name Sunshine Media Network International, repealing for the purpose Republic Act number 11422, entitled An Act Renewing for Another 25 Years the franchise granted to Suarasud Media Corporation under Republic Act number 8122, entitled An Act Granting the Suarasud Media Corporation of the Philippines a franchise to construct, install, operate, and maintain for commercial purposes radio and television broadcasting station in the Philippines and for other purposes.
May we request the author, the Honorable Ramon Rodrigo Gutierrez.
Po yung author ng
For,
proposed revocation, proposed
number
cancellation ng Republic Act 11422.
9710.
Yun po yung franchise law ng SMNI, Suarasud Media Corporation at Sunshine Media Network International.
Already sponsored this bill. May likewise again move that my explanatory note be adopted as the sponsorship speech for this bill. Thank you, Chair.
We now proceed to the discussion. Any questions, Honorable Manuel?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to ask a few questions
Guzman Manuel,
to our resource persons.
Artilis.
Mr. Chair, tanong po sa KOJC. Dahil ngayon di ba merong executive pastor na siya ay siya din yung tinuturing na head ngayon ng Suwarsug. Am I correct, Mr. Chair?
Mr. Chair, can I answer the question of the good Congressman, Mr. Chair? Maybe I'm sorry, eh?
The Honorable Mark Tolentino.
No, I'm a lawyer, Mr. Chair. I'm not a
Yes.
congressman. Mr. Chair, the answer of that, Mr. Chair.
Welcome back to the committee, Attorney Tolentino.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With respect to the question of the Honorable Manuel, Mr. Chair, the executive pastor of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ is not part of the day-to-day operation of SMNI. But of course, with respect to Suwarsug Media Corporation, the Kingdom of Jesus Christ, we consider them as the investor. That's why the subscription of Suwarsug Media Corporation in 2019 started only as 50 million subscription. Now it's already 650 million, Mr. Chair. So if I may explain, Mr. Chair, I'd like also to manifest, Mr. Chair, that we furnish a copy of our position paper to all the members of the committee. Our position letter dated today, Mr. Chair, March 12, 2024, Mr. Chair. May I furnish this to the Honorable Committee, Mr. Chair? Yes.
Mark, kayo naman nandito naman kayo simula nung lakang hearing natin November.
Yes, Chair.
Bakit naman po papadala niyo yung copy niyo on the day of the hearing sa hapon pa? Taga po yung akin 12:30. Isang 30 minutos. Paano na yung pag-aralan lahat yan?
Na it is just our position, Mr. Chair.
Mahilig sa delay pala itong mga ito.
In our previous hearing,
Puro late yung mga dokumento.
We put that on writing, Mr. Chair. So we find also
So you're not saying anything new in this letter. Nasabi niyo na po lahat. Sinulat siya.
yes. This is a reiteration of our position, Mr. Chair.
Yes. So this is what this letter contains. Tapos may pangkasama USB.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay,
From the
kasama
very start,
USB.
Mr. Chair, since November last year, and this is our position.
Anyway, we will have to validate this against the records of the committee, okay? Kung talaga ito po yung mga sinabi, ito po talaga ang mga ginawa ninyo. The Honorable Manuel, you still have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, Mr. Chair, ulit clarify ko, ang executive pastor as corporation sole ay investor siya sa Suwarsug. Am I correct, Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So, Mr. Chair, can the attorney explain ano ang function ng isang corporation sole?
When I say corporation sole, I already explained that in our previous hearing, Mr. Chair, that a corporation sole, the head of the corporation sole, he is considered as a trustee of all the properties of the corporation. So today, the head of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ is in the person of Marlon Jacobo. He is the trustee of all the properties and he is considered as the head of the corporation. But he is not the owner of the executive pastor of Kingdom of Jesus Christ, but he is considered as a trustee. When I say trustee, pinagkatiwala sa kanya ang Kingdom of Jesus Christ. The real owner are the members of the religious organization.
Mr. Chair, ano-anong properties ang pinag-uusapan natin? Ano-anong properties ito ng KOJC na kung saan trustee ang executive pastor?
I am not the best person to answer that, Mr. Chair. I'm just a lawyer or the legal counsel of SMNI. So I cannot answer that, Mr.
Dapat
Chair.
si Marlon
we request legal
Jacobo ang magsalita. Siya pala yung pastor eh. Executive pastor ba?
May I respond, Mr. Chair? May I respectfully request that the question be repeated, Honorable Manuel?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, since nabanggit na ang executive pastor ay siya ang trustee ng lahat ng properties ng KOJC, I was asking ano-anong mga properties ang pinag-uusapan natin dito?
Mr. Congressman, marami po kasi eh. We will be happy to furnish the committee with a list of the properties, but offhand, I would say properties dedicated to the propagation of the faith. There are houses of worship, places of worship, residences of the workers for the church, and others of a similar nature, Honorable Manuel.
Mr. Chair, maliban sa executive pastor, meron bang iba pang trustee or may similar function sa pag-handle ng ganitong mga properties ng KOJC?
As a corporation soul po, yung executive pastor or elder or basically po, whoever heads the church is the sole trustee and administrator of the properties of the corporation soul, Mr. Congressman.
And sa ngayon, Mr. Chair, again, I clarify that would be Executive Pastor Marlon Rosete.
Yes po, Marlon, ako po, si Dr. Marlon Rosente po is the president of SMNI, Your Honor.
Okay.
Kapangalan niyan, parehong Marlon.
Thank you dun sa mga sagot. Pero Mr. Chair, ngayon
Kilala ko yung dalawang yan
dahil
President at saka ano.
ay na-announce po sa media na ang bagong property administrator ng KOJC Properties ay si former President Rodrigo Duterte. Pero Mr. Chair, ngayon we hear from the legal counsel of KOJC may task to administer the properties would be the executive pastor. So Mr. Chair, ngayon there are conflicting accounts at I think this
Sumaw kasi si Topacio si Tolentino nagpapaliwanag, kaya nagkabukuhan tuloy.
Malinaw sino talaga yung nag-administer ng properties.
Nabanggit na si Digong.
Sa akin, Mr. Chair,
Duterte.
please further lang yung mga taong ito. Yung pagkakaroon ng corporation soul, sino yung nakalagay dyan, it seems na hindi talaga sila yung nagmamanage ng mga properties na dahil yung KOJC ay hindi naman ay investor doon sa Suarez na siya ding nagmamanage ng SMNI. But Mr. Chair, I think this opens more questions sa ating committee dahil I think wala namang recent issues na involved si executive pastor. Kung merong involved sa maraming issues na Mr. Chair, that would be Apollo Quiboloy. Pero bakit merong pa-transfer ng responsibility from the executive pastor as the property administrator to former President Rodrigo Duterte? Actually nakakalito, Mr. Chair, and I think this compels the committee to go beyond yung labels at kung sino lang yung mga taong nilalagay ng KOJC o ng Suarezog sa kanilang mga official records na pinapasa nila maging sa Securities and Exchange Commission. Yun lang muna sa ngayon, Mr. Chair.
Very briefly, Mr. Chair. Yes, very briefly, Mr. Chair. When we say administrator, Honorable Manuel, that is in the concept of trustee of the properties. The executive minister remains trustee. But however, under the general rules of administration in the civil code, or when read together with the provisions of the revised corporation code, of course, the executive minister or the elder or the archbishop, etc., of any religious organization cannot be expected to comply with the spiritual aspect of running a corporation soul, a religious corporation, and the day-to-day administration. And the revised corporation code itself, Honorable Manuel, states that there may be schemes in order to assist the trustee in administering. Therefore, the short answer is that the executive minister remains trustee, but in running the affairs of the...
Point of order, Mr. Chair. Point of order.
Uy, sino yun?
Mr. Chair, point of order.
May congressman sumingit. Si Castro.
Point of order.
Saan yung chairman? Hindi nadidinig yung point of order.
Kanina pa, Mr. Chair, we have resolved na siya may sasagot for Pastor Quiboloy. Kasi nag-explain na siya yung tungkol doon sa pag-turn over ni Pastor Quiboloy kay former President Duterte. At hindi pa siya, Mr. Chair, ang council ba pwedeng magsalita for Pastor Quiboloy? Doon pa lang resolve yun kasi yung ganyan po ang nangyayari.
The chair allowed already
so can we have him
Yes.
take his oath?
May we ask Attorney, kayo lang po, Attorney Topacio, kayo lang po. Attorney Topacio lang po. Okay? Attorney Topacio.
Ito, kanina pa pala, hindi pa pala nanunong pa, ngayon pa lang. Kanina pa nagsasalita si Topacio.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth,
Ngayon pala.
nothing but the truth before this
Dapat pinanong pa na yan kanina.
Okay, thank you.
And another question, Mr. Chair, is he's taking of oath as representative or general counsel of Quiboloy waive already the client to answer questions.
Ano po tanong nyo?
So, ibig sabihin po ba yung pag-oath at pag-testify po ni Attorney Topacio ay waive na natin? Yung pagpunta ni Quiboloy dito?
We will cited him for in contempt and we will be asking for the TV.
So, gusto lang po natin malinaw yun, kasi ang tanong po kasi ni
Sasapawan.
Honorable Manuel po ay tungkol dun sa pag-turn over po.
Yes, he will be requesting, he will be asked to appear
Okay.
by the committee.
So,
And a proper motion will be entertained in a while, yes. Thank
okay.
you.
So, hindi po yung sagot ni Attorney Topacio yung nasagot dun sa
Opo.
mga tanong
Because
natin.
marami pong
Yeah,
dapat
okay.
sagutin si Pastor Quiboloy as explained earlier. Now, hindi po lahat masa. Kundi nga mo nasagot na ito ni Rolex at saka na ni Martian.
In a proper time, Mr. Chair, I will also move to invite then former President Duterte kasi siya yung in-involve as pinasahan ng property.
Papatawag si Duterte.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Okay,
May request siya na i-attend din si Duterte. Wow.
The chair will recognize the honorable
Sasarap itong hearing na ito sa mga susunod na araw pag dumating si Duterte.
Augusto del Norte, the honorable Jonathan Clement Avalos II of 4Ps.
Daming congressman, no? Daming umattend, ah. Buti pa sa kongreso, maraming katrabaho.
And the honorable Antonio
Sa Senado, nag-iisa si Ontiveros.
Of Cavite.
Yan, no?
Just so that everyone know that I've already signed the attendance in this committee for the plenary. So it has been forwarded already to the majority floor leader. The Honorable Manuel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Short lang, Mr. Chair, given din I think many of our fellow members would also want to ask. Mr. Chair, kung i-replay po natin yung sagot kanina ng legal counsel, malinaw po yung naging tanong ko at yung sagutin po niya ay task ng executive pastor acting as corporation soul yung pag-administer ng mga properties ng KOJC. Pero ang nangyari, Mr. Chair, ngayon mula dun sa executive pastor na wala namang kinasasakontang issue ngayon ay nalipat po yung task niya sa dating Pangulo. Kaya Mr. Chair, again, that brings more questions rather than answers sa committee.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Manuel. Yes, anyway, is there another question?
May I make the clarification, Mr. Chair, about the question of
Maybe Attorney Topacio, can you, because maybe can you also rise so that yes, Attorney Ambrosio.
Mr. Chairman, may I also respectfully request that Executive Pastor Marlon Acobo be likewise sworn in. Because this is his first time also, Your Honor.
Yes, please.
Please raise your right hand. This swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth before this congressional inquiry.
Thank you very much. Okay, Attorney Ambrosio.
as to the clarification with regards to the question of Congressman Manuel, so the scope of the
Abogado po ito
appointment
ng
of former
company.
President PRRD is only in case of incapacity, disability, retirement, and other inability of the executive pastor and the board of administrators. So this is the appointment was made by the current executive pastor and the board of administrators that in case something might happen, the former president of PRRD will be able to manage the properties of the KOJC.
Attorney Ambrosio, this is contingent to if something happens to whom?
to the current executive pastor and to the board of administrators.
Who is the executive pastor?
Pastor Marlon Acobo.
So if something happens to Pastor Acobo,
Yes.
then President Duterte
May take over to manage the properties.
the
Will
pres-
take over.
will take over.
Yes.
Okay. Because doesn't Pastor Acobo, doesn't he, wala po siya assistant na pwede mag-take over?
This is, Your Honor, this was a management prerogative. It was the discretion of the executive pastor and the board of administrators that we will entrust the management of the properties of KOJC to former President Rodrigo Duterte.
If anything happens when you say anything happens, physically may mangyayari po sa kanya?
This pertains to any inability, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman. Yes,
Honorable
yes, I have a question to Pastor Mr. Acobo. Ilan taon na po kayo?
I'm 58, Your Honor.
Yeah, you look very fit. Si former president, ilan taon na po? More or less.
79.
79. Kasi, Mr. Chairman, if I may, kasi meron po akong friend na, may edad na, 60 plus, nagkaanak, okay? So yung mga kumpare niyang kinuha, yung age bracket siya, kahit siya, kumuha siya na mas bata. Ano bang ibig sabihin dito? Ibig sabihin dito, yung mas bata and healthy, that can take care of yung son. So yung sa akin, I'm just wondering lang, bakit mas may edad na yung we can take over. Ano ba naging basis lang po natin dyan?
Your Honor, pwede bang Bisaya lang ko, no? Kasubo na po ang sulti para ma-express na ako kung gusto isulti.
Bisaya.
Naman siguro tayo mga congressman rin ang makasabot po sa akong isulti. Very po. We will need kasi kailangan natin interpreter niya.
Bisaya. Hindi mo marunong. Ano ito Bisaya?
Ang ibig niya sabihin, Mr. Chair, he is not well versed in Tagalog, so he will need somebody to interpret what he will be saying.
Okay, who will Mr. Chair, can I act as interpreter of Mr. Marlon Acobo? Okay. Attorney Mark, you will interpret sentence by sentence. Okay, Mr. Chair. I can also interpret for him.
Bisaya. Ba't di mo marunong mag-Tagalog ito si Marlon?
Kinalimugot ang kentang Your
Nung araw, nag-go-golf kami nito, marunong mag-Tagalog ito eh. Kilala ko kasi ito.
Congressman Pumarin. Anong ipili na mo si...
Nung araw, nag-go-golf kami na General Swerte, nagtatagalog ito ah. Ngayon, hindi na marunong mag-Tagalog dito si Marlon.
Despite sa iyang
Nag-golf kami nito sa Contempt Hill, saan bago. Ako, hindi makaintindi. Parang naging comedy na. Ano ba ito?
Please address your answer to the chair, not to the sorry po. Bakit pinili naman si PRT despite sa kanyang edad? Tungkol kay si former President Rodrigo Duterte, taas ang iyang eksperyensya, lawyer siya, labaw sa tanan, suod siya na higala sa Kingdom Ministry. Si PRD, taas yung kanyang experience, abogado po siya, then malapit na kaibigan siya sa ministry. Muna ang reason, Your Honor.
Yun daw ang dahilan.
Thank you very much to Pastor and Attorney Mark. Maraming salamat. Okay.
Ganun lang?
Yes.
Related lang po dun sa tanong.
Yes.
So is former President Duterte member of the KOJC? At ano yung naging role niya po sa KOJC in the past and present?
Your Honor, dili siya member, pero ang iyang stand sa Kingdom
ministry is more than a member. Tungod kay ang iyang respeto sa ministry, taas tayo. Sukat pa sa sinugban.
Hindi siya member ng ministry, but
Hindi pala marunong mag-Tagalog.
respeto at stand sa ministry is more than a member.
Salamat po. Okay. Thank you very much.
Gold na lang tayo. Gold na lang tayo, Marlon. Ito, magaling mag-gold ito si Marlon eh. Di ba, General? General swerte kaya nakikinig. General, magaling mag-gold yan.
We will proceed with further interpretation. The Honorable Paduano.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to clear the previous motion and was approved to this committee with regards to the contempt order, Mr. Chairman. We should have a second motion. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I move that we direct the Sergeant at Arms to coordinate with all enforcement agencies, particularly the PNP, to bring Pastor Quiboloy in the House premises. So, Mr. Chairman.
There's a motion by the Honorable Karam.
Pinapahuli na. Wow.
Any second? Seconded by the Honorable J.J. Suarez, Honorable Pimentel, and the Honorable Senior Deputy Speaker Don Gonzales. The chair in objection, the motion of the Honorable Paduano
Wow.
to ask the Sergeant of Arms directing the Sergeant of Arms to
Coordinate.
bring the Honorable Pastor Quiboloy to the House premises is hereby approved.
Naku, ayan na po. Nag-order na po. Approve ang motion. Makipag-coordinate sa law enforcement agency na dalhin sa Kongreso si Quiboloy.
The good attorney to Passion.
Arestuhan na. Naloko na.
Fighting and has
Ang bilis
taken
ng
his
motion,
oath as a lawyer. And insofar as you are going to see the good pastor tomorrow, maybe you can aid the Sergeant of Arms in the exercise of their duty.
Oh. Yan na.
Kasi magkikita naman kayo bukas, di ba?
Ayan, inutusan na sitwasyon. Magkikita kayo. Sama mo na yung sergeant. Puhulihin na.
I hope you will respect the lawyer-client relationship. But I can advise him accordingly, Your Honor. In my capacity.
I was just, under the impression that, of course, you being a lawyer and this being a lawful committee hearing, and
Wala.
what we did,
Pinahuhuli na po mga kaibigan. Pinapahuli na. Approve na yung motion. Ulitin lang po natin. Yun ang breaking news. Biglang sumingit si Congressman. Nag-motion ng ganun eh.
of the duties of
After na ma-approvean yung
Your Honor,
content.
I believe that this committee or the House of Representatives is possessed of sufficient power to enforce its orders even without the assistance of this humble representation. But as a lawyer, of course, I will always advise my clients in accordance to my training in the law, Your Honor. That much I can assure the Honorable Committee. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
So marino po yung motion ha. Ang motion, inatasan na yung Sergeant of Arms. Yun po yung mga security ng Congress. Makipag-coordinate sa mga law enforcement agency para dalhin sa Congress si Quiboloy. Yan po yung motion na inapprovean. So aarestuhin na. Ganun ang dating noon. Iimbitahan na para magpunta ng hearing. Baka kasi contempt, arrest ang sunod eh.
Clarification of everyone. Tama po ba na yung nakita po kasi natin sa news yung whole
Si Congressman Nograles, ayan na oh.
It's not
Nix Nograles.
just to be clear for the body and the public that hindi pa administrator, Mr. Chair, yung pag-a-appoint po.
Yes. Expressed by
Nag-uusapan yung posisyon ng Kingdom of Jesus Christ. Biglang nag-motion, mga kaibigan. Biglang nag-motion.
as we speak.
Na inaatasan na ang Congress makipag-coordinate sa PNP, Law Enforcement Agency, para dalahin si Quiboloy. So, ibig sabihin, arestuhin, hulihin, or imbitahan, o kung ano man tawag doon. Kasi kinontempt na po eh. Pag contempt, papakulong. Aloko na. Walang nagawa si Topacio.
Executive pastor naman nandito,
Yes.
and there's an appointment pending. If we could have a copy of
Sabi paikot ni Atty. Topacio, bakit? Abogado siya, naghahanap buhay lang yung mama.
Your Honor,
Kaya lang, hindi niya ma-justify. Hindi niya makakonvince yung mga
Mr. Chair,
congressman.
through SEC lang for the clarification of this process. Ano po ba ang proseso ng appoint ng administrator pagdating sa corporation soul, since it's a different kind of corporation, it's
Mga
a
lawyer
special
ito.
kind of
Tatanong ito.
corporation na
Attorney.
ang executive pastor
Nograles.
naman ang mag-a-administer ng mga properties and manage for behalf of the members of the religious sect, Mr. Chair.
That's against you.
The SEC.
SEC, you may reply.
SEC, Security Exchange Commission.
I address the question of Honorable Nograles. When an entity incorporates in the SEC as a corporation soul, and the articles of incorporation, they will already specify who is the executive pastor or the elder or the rabbi or the chief of that corporation soul.
That's Mr. Chair, with regard to appointing of an administrator, should the executive pastor be incapacitated? What is the process for, Mr. Chair?
Pero on record, with regard to KOGC, on December 16, 2022,
Sorry, Mr. Chair, I'm just asking for a general process, not with relation to the KOJC, Mr. Chair.
a letter of appointment will be issued by the current executive pastor to his successor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to remind, since we're talking about the laws and the corporation code, given the gravity of what is happening with the media and everything, with regard to section 111 also of the revised corporation code, para lang umiwas po sa mga violations, Mr. Chair, in any encumbrance, selling, disposal of property by an administrator, executive pastor, kailangan pa rin po ng court approval dito with regard to that. And I'm just more appealing na sana sumunod po ang KOJC, ang SWARSO, or especially KOJC, sa mga ganitong aspeto so that we won't be looking into further violations, and should there be any change, again with the consent also of Congress. Yun lang po, Mr. Chair, just to raise it as a way of reminding lang po the corporations on their procedural aspects para wala na po, iwas na po sa mga violations na pwedeng mangyari mo, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Honorable Migs Nograles, SEC, please take note of the statement of the Honorable Migs Nograles. Thank you. Thank you. So, any other member that would like to speak for or against this motion? You have now the Honorable Gutierrez.
Yes, Mr. Chair, sorry, before we proceed po, just a few questions. Like I mentioned, we had some material questions that were left unanswered in the previous deliberations, and we'd like to take a crack at the theory of the good attorney Tapasio that they might be able to answer po, no? So with the indulgence of this committee, may I proceed with my interpellation of the executive pastor?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, may I request that perhaps is the Attorney Ambrosio capable of translating for Pastor Jacobo? Yes. Okay, Mr. Chair.
Hindi pa naman mag-Tagalog siya. Hindi pa lang mag-Tagalog si
No
Marlon.
doubt, appreciate the interpretation skills of the good attorney Tolentino, but we would like to have a separate one, para we're not confused where KOJC ends and where SMNI begins. So, Mr. Chair, may I ask the good Pastor Jacobo, through the good attorney Ambrosio, in your GIS papers, may we begin? How long have you been with the KOJC?
Your Honor, nagsugod ko sa pakiguban ng pastor since 1985.
Your Honor, nagsimula po ako since 1985. Ipagsama kay Pastor since 1985.
Mr. Chair, I noticed the good pastor does not need a translator to understand my question. But,
Nakasagot ko,
okay, Your Honor, you understand. You cannot express. I
ang
see.
akong gustong isulti.
You would prefer not to express in another language, or you are unable of expressing in another language?
Kaso mas prepare ko nga musulti o Bisaya, Your Honor.
He prefers to answer in Cebuano.
It is a preference. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for the record. So, Mr. Chair, I'd like to ask the good pastor now. So, since 1985, but his appointment as executive pastor was on what date specifically?
Nagsugod ang ako ang pagkahimong executive pastor, Your Honor, at yung time na gipilapan na po ang mga papers para sa Securities Exchange and Commission.
Nagsimula akong maging executive pastor nung pinirmahan ko yung mga papers for the Securities and Exchange Commission.
That was December 19, 2022.
December 2022.
Sunod na tuig, January 4, 2023, i-aprobahan sa SEC ang pagkahimo na kong executive pastor.
It started in December 19, 2022, and on January 4, 2023, it was approved by SEC. Your Honor, may I make a clarification? So, what Pastor Marlon is pertaining to is the amended articles of incorporation, since corporation souls are not required to submit general information sheets.
Okay, so we're now referring to the KOJC, Mr. Chair. But for the appointment, because, by the way, thank you, Pastor, for attending today. No, we would have hoped that you were with us from the start. But we were under the impression, I believe it was one of the representatives of SMNI, that Pastor Acobo took over in 2021. How can we...
2020.
2021 daw po yun,
Your Honor.
2022, nag-take over. So the mentioned appointment papers by Attorney Tolentino was based on what? May we ask, Mr. Chair, the representative of SMNI?
Your statement was 2021.
If I'm not mistaken, of course.
I have with me, Mr. Chair, the certificate of appointment of Brother Marlon P. Acobo, signed by Pastor Quiboloy, dated December 19 of 2022.
Mr. Chair, may we ask the council?
Dali mahalaga po yung para malinaw lang kasi yung mga, alam ko yung mga nanonood po, may mga trabaho, yung mga nanonood, may mga gagawin. Ang more or less nangyari po ay nagkaroon po ng motion si Congressman Pimentel as Vice Chairman ng Committee on Franchise to contempt. Okay, maraming diskusyon bago na-aproban. In-aproban po, maraming nag-second demotion at wala pong nag-oppose. Wala hong ni isang congressman ang tumutol sa motion for contempt kay Apollo Quiboloy. Kaya in-aproban yan. Okay? So after po na ma-contempt siya, maraming isyong tinalakay dahil napakarami hong topic kasi pati yung revocation, proposed bill pro-revocation ni Congressman Gutierrez, tinatalakay na rin po. Abay, bigla na lang itong isang congressman na Paduano ba yun? Nag-clarify at nag-motion siya. May pumasok siya, nagtanong at nag-motion kaagad. Ang motion niya ay atasan na daw po yung Sergeant of Arms. Ano ba ito? Ito yung mga security. Tama? Ito yung namamahala sa buong Congress. Iba yung under ito na Secretary Velasco, kung di ako nagkakamali. Sa Senado, meron din ganyan eh. Inatasan na makipag-coordinate sa law enforcement agency katulad ng PNP. Nadalhin daw dito sa Congress si Quiboloy. So ibig sabihin pinapa-aresto na. Ayan po at wala pong nag-object. Ang dami nag-second demotion ng mga congressman, ni isa. So dalawang motion na matitindi, ni isa wala hong tumutol, walang nag-object. Wala hong tumutol na kahit isang congressman. Motion for contempt, motion to arrest, ay wala pong tumutol. So yun na po yung major development ngayon dito. Dahil hindi ho na-justify ni Attorney Topacio as General Counsel ng Kingdom of Jesus Christ at abogado rin ni Quiboloy yung kanyang mga sinasabi kung bakit hindi dumarating, hindi nagpunta sa hearing ngayon. Inamin pa ho ni Topacio na siya daw ang isa sa mga nag-advise as General Counsel. Dahil meron siyang iniimbok na Supreme Court ruling, Supreme Court decision na ganito-ganito. Hindi naman ho pinansin ng Kongreso. Kasi nga ang Kongreso, sabi ko sa inyo nung araw pa, ang Senado at Kongreso, meron pong sapat na authority. Meron silang responsibility and accountability. Meron silang power in aid of legislation to invite lahat ng guests kung sino pwedeng resource person na imbitahan. Ang hindi makikipag-ugnayan diyan, pwede nilang i-contempt talaga. At pwedeng isipwena, i-contempt at ipa-arresto. Ayan ang mangyayari ngayon. So ayan ang major development ngayon. Kung kung bitin sa Senado yung contempt dahil hinarang ni Robin Padilla, sa ibang committee naman sa Senado yun, ay sa Senado yun. Merong Robin Padilla dun na mayroon daw utang na loob kay Quiboloy, kaya hinarang niya yung contempt at aresto kay Quiboloy. Ngayon, dito sa Congress, ibang issue ito, franchise ang issue rito at iba pa, violation sa prangkisa, abay wala akong kakampi rito si Quiboloy. Ni isa nga inuulit ko, ni isa walang nagtumutol doon sa dalawang motion na magkasunod. May kaunting gap kasi ang haba ng discussion, sabi nga ni Pimentel, sandali. Ba't ang layo na ng topic? Yung aking motion, hindi wala pa akong final. Kaya nag-motion binalikan yung motion to contempt. Tapos marami naman yung pinag-usapan tungkol doon sa mga, alam mo na, mga maraming tanong. Binalik ulit ni Congressman Paduano, yun ang motion niya to arrest, to coordinate ang Congress Sergeant para ho sa ating PNP. Para dalhin sa Congress. Kung kailan, yan ang ating aabangan. Okay? So more or less, yun po yung malaking balitang nangyari. Yan ang malaking development sa House Committee on Franchise under Congressman Gas Tambunting ng Parañaque. Balikan natin itong nagpapaliwanag si Pastor Acobo Marlon, hindi naman maintindihan kasi Bisaya, hindi rin ako Bisaya. Paano ko ba maintindihan itong paliwanag nito?
Executive Pastor.
Can I give a brief history on how I became the executive
Balikan natin yan.
pastor?
I will allow that, pero kailangan mo masagot yung tanong, ha? Bakit iba yung sa dokumento, iba yung kinikwento nyo na yun?
Ganito po, inalibing Your Honor, ang plano ni Pastor na i-biyaan niya ang pagka-executive pastor.
Ang plano ni pastor na umalis na sa pagka-executive pastor,
Nag-start ito 2015 pa po.
Okay.
And then, the following year, 2014, tungkol kay pagka 2015 na aming general meeting kauban sa tanang mga international o national leaders.
in 2015, we had a meeting with the leaders of QOJC.
I-announce na ni Pastor na iyan ang biyaan ang iyahang pagka-executive pastor.
Pastor Apollo already announced that he will leave his position as the executive pastor.
Iyan na rin itubyan sa mga board of administrators.
And he will entrust this to the administrators.
Mr. Chair, 2018, padayon sa, Your Honor, pwede kong padayon. Okay. 2019,
Tagalog ka na lang kasi, marunong ka naman mag-Tagalog Marlon.
Succession plan.
Naulit ko, pag nag-google tayo, ang lakas, ang galing mo mag-Tagalog
2019,
Kasi dati nag-google po kami niya.
succession plan na ako ang musunod sa iya.
In 2019, I was already in the succession plan.
Na-formalize ni Your Honor, latong nipirma ko sa tanang mga legal documents para sa SEC December 18, 2022.
Yan po may pinchok pa rin 2016 kayo na. Bakit hindi mo kayo 2016 o sa 2019 binigyan naman kayo na sa mga dokumento? Bakit sa December, sa 2020 pa? Pumasok po pangalan ninyo.
Sinisipon ako rito. Sinisipon ako sa pag-Bisaya. Hindi ko maintindihan ng Bisaya
Your Honor,
Tagalog ko na Marlon, hindi ko maintindihan.
ang akong assignment nasa abroad.
Aking assignment
Sa Middle East,
sa abroad.
na-assign. Sa Tibok.
Nasa kasi yan, Abu Dhabi, Dubai.
So,
Doon administrator yan sa Dubai.
Opo. Klaro po tayo dyan. So, ang hindi pa rin mo natin nasagot, yung tanong ko ni bakit nagre-reflect pa rin sa SEC documents na yung pangalan po ni Pastor Quiboloy nung sinasabi nyo kayo na. Ngayon sinasabi nyo nasa abroad kayo,
May discrepancies na naman. Iba yung nasa record ng Security Exchange
Your
Commission.
Honor, may we ask the question to be repeated so that it's clear.
There's a inconsistency. I think the question, can you please just answer the question of the Honorable Gutierrez? Why does it reflect that it's still Pastor Quiboloy?
Malungkot si Topacio, mukha
He's now saying
contempt yung kliyente.
Pastor Quiboloy.
Your Honor, if you are pertaining to the general information sheet of SWARASU in 2022, it was filed on June 2022.
Naglas na ba ako? Hindi pa.
Pastor was still
Oras ba?
the executive pastor.
Alas 3 na, wala pa tayo, Lance.
However, he is no longer a stockholder.
Higop muna tayo na ito. Masarap ito.
A stockholder of SWARASU because he donated his shares
Jesus
to
ba yan?
Jesus Christ Workers Members.
Bata akong galing saan ito. Galing yata sa Japan ito.
On GIS for June 27, 2022. And the
Alas 3 na, wala pang tanghalian. Wala pang break.
On December 19, 2022.
Correct. But for the record,
May problema po dito. Magkaiba yung record ng Security Commission kasi sinasabi ni Pastor
Yes, Your Honor.
Tama ba? Si Marlon?
The amended articles
Problema sila nito.
was released or approved by SEC on January 4, 2023.
correct. So that's what we have on record also. So it still doesn't answer why is it the name of Pastor Quiboloy still there? When in that's easy. So as far as we're concerned,
General Swerte, baka nakikinig ka. Kumusta ka na, sir?
was Pastor Quiboloy.
Yung kaibigan nating kasama natin sa group, ito, ano na pala siya? Pastor na pala ngayon.
It was only on December 19 that
Si Marlon.
the appointment of Pastor
Kailan kaya magyayang mag-group ito? Ulit.
provided or decided by the board.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, just a point of order.
Honorable
I don't know
Gutierrez.
if we have it in our rules. I'm sorry if I must write on this point. No, Mr. Chair, the executive pastor was assigned abroad po, no? Perhaps we would appeal again that perhaps he would choose to express himself. I'm sure he's very capable in English. Because, Mr. Chair,
Oo nga naman. Sa abroad naka-assign ba't hindi marunong mag-English? Gano'n ba yan? Administrator po kasi dati yan sa United Arab Emirates, sa Abu Dhabi, Dubai.
When it is being coached through a colleague and an attorney at that, who has been also inputting her own answers in not as translation, nalilito po tayo kung which were the words of the pastor and which were the words of the attorney. Mr. Chair, he did say it was only a preference. Perhaps he would consider expressing himself in a language understood.
Magaling po kasi ito si Congressman Gutierrez, abogado po ito.
Pero mas ma-express magod na ko ang akong isulti kung akong ganito ng akong pinulungan.
Ano?
Ay, naot na.
Hirap ng hindi Bisaya, hindi ko maintindihan. Sino ba mga Bisayang nanonood dito? Naintindihan ba rinyo?
With the kind volunteerism of Congresswoman Garin, she has offered to translate for us. No?
Tagal-tagal na itong administrator ng Kingdom of Jesus Christ sa United Arab Emirates. Kaya naman ito magsalita ng international language eh. O kaya Tagalog, magaling mag-Tagalog yan. Bakit kaya mag-Tagalog?
Gusto naman niya magsalita ng Tagalog, but he cannot express na anong komportable sa kanya.
So, Mr. Chair, whether or
Yan
not
pala,
we accept,
hindi niya masasabi ng diretso raw, hindi siya komportable pag Tagalog. Hindi, English na lang.
This might be new for the committee po, no? But if we would accept that as our procedure going on, no? Parang we can separate rin yung testimony ni Attorney Ambrosio. Kasi kanina po may translation sana for Pastor Acobo, pero may input naman sa GIS si Attorney Ambrosio, just to separate the two.
Thank you. The chair recognizes the other members of the committee, the Honorable Jojo Lara, who's here. Welcome, sir, of the 3rd District of Cagayan, and of course, the Honorable Janet Garin.
Iloilo. Dumadami pa po yung congressman. Buti sa congressman, ganda ng attendance eh. Sa Senado, walang senador eh. Si Ontiveros lang. Si Robin Padilla doon, padaan-daan lang eh.
Yung tanong po natin dito.
By the way, ngayon matatapos yun, yung deadline ng 7 days. Pag walang nagawa si Padilla, tuloy din ang contempt doon sa Senado.
The appointment of Executive Pastor Acobo and the internal workings of KOJC. Kasi po, okay, admittedly, let us say in 2019, there were informal plans to have Executive Pastor Acobo take over. And that this only took effect in December 2022. It does not explain for the change of the GIS in June 2022. Kasi po dito, natanggal na si
Excuse lang po ha.
and still, another factor.
Higop lang ako ng hot ano.
Dito si Pastor Quiboloy. But still, Pastor Acobo was not inputted there. Kaya ako yung tanong namin sa SEC,
Sorry po.
they said wala naman pong beneficial ownership portion in the documents received by SEC. So that's another issue that we have po, no? Just to recall, para sa lahat natin, sa lahat sa atin dito, there is a difference in the GIS submitted before this committee and the GIS submitted before the SEC. So the SEC
Jonas Gamaso, sinasadya yan, Sir Mike. Talagang niloloko tayo. Grabe ito mga comments. Sinasadya raw mag-Bisaya, gano'n, para hindi natin maintindihan.
For Executive Pastor Acobo to take over in 2019 and this only took effect in December 2022, it doesn't explain kung bakit wala na po si Pastor Quiboloy in June of 2022 unless the GIS was already reflecting changes without the proper appointment papers.
Grabe. May discrepancies naman. Mayroon naman ng pagkakaiba-iba. Yung document po, tsaka sinasabi.
Mr. Chair, maybe ask the explanation from the good pastor.
Actually,
Yan ang mahirap eh.
issue, Your Honor.
Yep. Bawal kumain dito.
Sa Smni ang GIS.
Yun.
Kana nga panahon, siya pa ang executive.
Kain po tayo.
Okay,
Hindi pa ako nagtatanghalian eh.
During the time, you were still the executive director. You were still the pastor.
Sa pag-submit, ma'am, Your Honor,
When it was submitted,
June, sa GIS, June 27, 2022, si Pastor Apollo Quiboloy, siya pa ang executive pastor.
2022.
so when it was submitted, June 27, 2022, Pastor Quiboloy was still the executive pastor.
Opo. Mr. Chair, then why was he not beneficial owner in June 2022?
Nga nawa man siya na beneficial owner sa 2022.
Yes, Attorney Ambrosio.
Okay, so Your Honor, Pastor
Magkakaiba yung
Apollo
data.
was
Naloko na.
included in the 2022 GIS of Swarasu because he does not control the operations of Swarasu. And at the same time, it was the period wherein
Lumaki itong storyang ito. Itong simple lang na hearing ito eh. Magkaka-arestuhan pa. Grabe talaga.
So that's why during this period,
Arestuhan, contempt sa mga record niyan.
to Swarasu because they have their own board of directors. So that's the reason, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair,
Alam mo kung naniwala lang sa mga dami kong nilabas na video na nag-a-advise ako dahil tinuturi ko pa rin kaibigan si Quiboloy. Dahil tagal ko kong nakasama niya. Eh mga advice ko, harapin na lang ito eh. Eh kaso naniwala kay Topacio na huwag gumarap. Ayan, ngayon, contempt, aarestuhin na siya. Kasi si Topacio pala nag-a-advise sa kanya na huwag umaten. Kaya ako, advice ko bilang kaibigan, umaten, gumarap, para walang contempt. Kung marap sa hearing ito nung umpisa pa lang, tapos na ho itong isong ito. Baka wala ng revocation proposed bill. Baka maaayos. Eh kasi nagmatigasan eh. Naniwala, mga abogado pala nag-advise na huwag mag-attend. Naloko na.
Executive Pastor Acobo is nowhere to be found in the beneficial ownerships as executive pastor for 2022 or 2023. So, Mr. Chair, this only supports what we have been inclined to believe, that there is
Dito pa lang sa record, nagkakagulo sila.
in the papers being submitted before this
Diba lang mo kung ano dokumento papakita ni Topacio, ni Suplico, ni yung tatlo, apat na abogado, magkakatabi.
It's different from the documents submitted with the SEC. So it brings to focus again, Mr. Chair, the issue of whether SMNI, this is no longer KOJC, SMNI is faithfully fulfilling its obligation and duties under the franchise, a privilege granted to it by this body, by this
Panay bagong violation yan, delikado.
One question, we'll move on from the GIS portion now. I have a question on section 4 and 7. Recently, we've come to the knowledge that one of your star talents, independent contractors, was found
Yan
guilty.
po yung franchise law 11-422.
Mr. Chair, may we find out from SMNI if there has been any action on their ethics board ba yun, or remedial board, disciplinary board?
Editorial,
Chair, I'd like to
something
ask,
like that.
who is the talent? Is
Mr. Chair, si Ms. Badoy.
Miss Badoy and Eric Celis, they have
Ay, nako. Nako, galingan po, advice ko lang galingan niyo sumagot mga abogado at saka Pastor Marlon kasi yan yung author ng yan yung gumawa ng proposed bill 9710 to revoke franchise law. Nagkakawin-win na kayo sa sagot, delikado yan. Alam, kung makukumbisi, baka pwede pang withdraw yung revocation. Kaso, nakakabulbul kayo.
Including, but of course, there is laban kasakan bayan in
Parang hindi kayo nag-uusap.
na Bonifacio.
Same name, no relation.
No relation.
No relation. It's a branding thing, no, Mr. Chair. Okay. So, Mr. Chair, starting February, wala na po yung laban kasamang bayan.
Suspended.
Kahit sa social media.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Our independent contractors are in no way now working with SMNI.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, Mr. Chair, thank you for that answer. Going back po, just to summarize, because I've not concluded my questioning here. For the consideration of this body, the violations that we have found are on sections 4 on responsibility to the public and section 7 for self-regulation in relation to the numerous allegations, indictments, or findings of fake news and tagging. We're also citing section 10 on the provisions for sale, lease, transfer of
Section 10, Public Act 11422, franchise law.
Section 10 and Section 11 carry with them ipso facto provisions for their revocation. And Section 12, which was just highlighted today, all the more because we could not get the proper answer on the repertory requirements. So I submit to this body, Mr. Chair, and I request that we consider my bill that is pending for the body. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Patay kang bata ka. Inimbok yung Section 10 at saka 11, violation sa Franchise Law Republic Act 11422. Kaya ang request niya, to revoke. Yan ang gusto niya, pinaninindigan po ni Congressman Ruda Gutierrez na i-revoke dahil sa violation sa Franchise Law. Ang gulo kasi ng sagot naloko na.
Attorney Mark, since you've stated earlier that is just a summary of all previous statements that you have made, which is still before already with the committee, then we have that already on record. So I don't think you still need more time to express what you have already stated in the previous statement. But let's be rest assured that as far as the Honorable Gutierrez is concerned, it has remained unanswered and he's still in the state of confusion as far as your answers are concerned. Thank you very much. Any other member? The Honorable Pacho, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chair, I'm just wondering, even surprised, kasi
may nakakapasin ng t-shirt ko. Luma na nga ito. Galing Australia nga po ito. Arlito Arce. Salamat po. Kasi nito. Salamat po.
Di mo na nakapagtataka.
Alas 6 daw ng umaga ngayon sa Europe, sa Greece.
Pero siya po yung chosen one. Ano po very special characteristic ko, especially kay Pastor Acobo.
Ma'am, it's a management prerogative na ni Pastor na siya ang mupili kung saan gustong pupuli sa ilaha, whether makasuti o hindi sutili.
So it's Pastor Quiboloy's prerogative based on management skills, not dependent on the mastery or the art of speaking either Tagalog or English.
Thank you po, Mr. Chief. Thank you, ma'am.
Proceed.
Yan. So, naku, tumigil ako ng pagtatanong si Congressman Rodriguez, Gutierrez, yun po yung importante kasi siya yung may proposed bid. Hindi ko na-convince kaya tinutulak talaga niya, revocation.
Yung tukuloy po sa
Pero subject po for hearing yan, tsaka debate. Marami pang paraan na proseso.
Yung mga trustee doon. And of course, hindi SMNI. So, gusto ko lang itanong, Mr. Chair, dahil yung stockholder na KOJC, tama ba? Stockholder ang KOJC sa SMNI. And KOJC, Mr. Chair, is a church, di ba? So, church siya. So, tanong ko lang, Mr. Chair,
kung nagbabayad po ba ang SMNI ng tax.
Yung po revocation, mahaba pa yung proseso. Pero tinutulak na ho ni Congressman Gutierrez kasi hindi siya kontento doon sa paliwanag ng mga abogado at saka ni Pastor Marlon. Yung sinasabi niyang paglabag sa Republic Act 11422 Franchise Law, Section 10 at Section 11 ang kanyang ground. Abogado po kasi yan si Gutierrez. Si Congressman Rod Gutierrez po, lawyer yan, alam niya yung kanyang ginagawa. Pero mahaba pa ang proseso niya, marami pang hearing yan, marami pang debate yan, dadalhin pa yung sa floor. Pero sa committee, kanya nire-request talaga, itutulak talaga niya ang revocation, pag-cancela ng franchise law ng SMNI.
Under the latest 2022 GIS, Mr. Chair, and also 2023, with respect to the taxes, we complied all the BIR regulations, payment, and we can present that to this honorable body, our income tax return.
Chairman Boyhood, good afternoon. Paulino Manalastas, Ani Aquino, Loni Padua, yan, nandiyan sila. Marites Belmonte, Liwayway Castillo,
So, ano rin po ba yung executive pastor?
Edgardo Pangilinan.
Doon sa SMNI, Mr. Chair, yung benefits na from that. So, paano po ba yun as a major stakeholder po doon sa ano?
Elmer Dizon, Jenny Ubaldo, Efren Jokno, MJ GM, si Boy George Alvario sa Facebook.
The business name. But the corporate name is actually Suarez. So
Boy George Alvario.
It's on the records. If the Honorable Castro will be amenable, all her reference
UK Mendoza. May pagka-Japanese ito.
to Suarez Media
Jun
Network
Solomon.
International.
R. Cabanit, Cram Leonan, Leoman,
Your Honor, may I
Michael
answer
Marquez,
the question of
Adeli
Honorable
Disang,
Castro?
Dikang, Telino.
KOJC, aside from being a stockholder of Suarez, KOJC
Christine Sirono, Sirono pala hindi na, Sirono, JK, Gloria Aguilar, Enita Sabado, Orlando. Usapan Bisaya kaya tuloy, hindi ko maintindihan yung iba eh. Hindi, naintindihan natin.
But as of record, there are no dividends declared since
Abogado ng SMNI ito salita.
based on the decision of the board of Suarez. So, Mr. Chair, linawin ko lang so, ibig sabihin, so walang kinikita dito yung KOJC doon sa SMNI.
Hirap itong nangyaring ito. Lumaki na
As of
lumaki yung problema
Your
nila.
Honor, KOJC has not received dividends from Suarez.
Sabi ni Michael Marquez, ang ibig sabihin, mahinang klase ang mga nasa Senado. Kasi yung ibang senador, abogado ni Quiboloy. Dito sa Congress, walang ganun. Dalawang motion matitindi, approve ka agad. Second demotion, approve. Ganun po yun eh. Dali, Congressman Pimentel, Vice Chairman.
Okay. So,
Surigao.
anim na hearing ang ginawa natin dito. We have already heard all sides pertaining to the subject matter. We have discussed thoroughly all the pertinent provisions of Republic Act 11422.
11422, yun po yun.
We exhausted already all arguments that needed to be discussed. And Mr. Chair, the 6 hearings that we have conducted, this committee, I believe, was able to establish violations of Suarez to their franchise. And may I repeat what has been stated by the author, Representative Gutierrez. First and foremost, we have established that they were in violation of Section 4, responsibility to the public,
Section 4.
which we have already thoroughly discussed, which I will not discuss anymore. Section 10,
Yan na.
the sale, lease, transfer, grant of use of park or assignment of franchise. We were able to establish that there was a change of ownership from Kingdom of Jesus Christ. In 2020, they reported in the GIS that KOGC owed 95% of Suarasug. However, in 2022, as per their GIS, they
Hindi, isa na po yung violation, no?
the shares of KOGC was diluted to 46% and it was transferred to previous global holdings, I believe. So clearly, there was a transfer of ownership, and under Section 10, they should report this to Congress and, or rather, ask permission from Congress. And once the transfer is consummated, they should report it to Congress within 60 days, which they did not do. Now, under Section 11, we have also established that they were also in violation of this pertinent provision, dispersal of ownership. It is very clear that in the life of their franchise, they should offer to Filipino citizens at least 30% of its outstanding stock. However, for the past 29 years on which they have been operating, not a single stock has been offered to Filipino citizens. And lastly, Section 12, which is the reportorial requirement. So, Mr. Chair, klaro-klaro, although of course the legal counsels of Suarasug will oppose our findings, they have their own interpretation also of the law, but I believe that this committee has found sufficient grounds to revoke their franchise. On this note, Mr. Chair, this representation would like to move for the approval of House Bill number 9710, an act revoking the legislative franchise granted to Suarasug Media Corporation. So move, Mr. Chair.
Motion yun.
House Bill
Delikado. Pinare-revoke na po.
9710. Any second?
Second the motion, Mr.
Duly
Chair.
seconded by the Honorable Pancho. Any objections? The chair in objections.
Tay ka
House Bill
bata ka,
number
walang objection.
9710, please approve as
Revoke. Cancellation. Oh my God. Oh my God. Ayan na.
May I suspend the hearing to direct the committee secretary to prepare the committee report. Session suspended.
Suspendido na, committee report na nirevoke na po. Oh my goodness. Ayan na ang sinasabi natin. So, i-recap lang natin ha. I-recap natin dahil matindi po ito. Ang dami nitong nangyaring ito. Nirevoke na po. Kinontempt si Quiboloy, pinapa-arresto na sa mga otoridad, tapos nirevoke na po. Inapruban po. Walang nag-motion, wala akong nag-upos eh. Yung motion ni Congressman Pimentel, Vice Chairman ng committee, at yung proposed bill ni Congressman Rodriguez, ayan o, walang nag-oppose. Ayan o, nagtitingi na lang yung mga abogado at mga taga-Smni. Ay wala, nirevoke po eh. Nirevoke na po ang walang nag-oppose eh. Inapproban yung Republic Act 9710. So ano kaya susunod dito? Ayan o, nag-uusap-usap yung mga nag-uusap-usap po doon sa gilid, yung mga abogado ng Smni at saka ng, sila. Sina Tolentino, si Badoy, si Eric, Pastor Marlon, abogado, ayan sila. Wala silang magagawa. Wala akong nag-oppose eh. Ganun sa Kongreso. Mabilis talaga sa Congress kaysa sa Senado. Walang nag-oppose doon sa motion to revoke. Okay? Tapos sinuspindi yung hearing, babalik pa yata si at pinapagawa na yung committee report. So, ibig sabihin, ito po yung nire-revoke sa committee. Dadalhin po yan sa floor. Sa plenaryo. Doon po yan ipapainal. Kung di ako nagkakamali, parang ganun. Basta, sandali, nag-resume ulit.
I have in my possession the draft committee report on House Bill 9710.
Yan na.
So again, on this note, Mr. Chair, I move for the approval of the committee report. So move, Mr. Chair.
There's a motion duly seconded. The chair in objection. Committee report is. There's a second. Second by the Honorable Pancho. Second by the Honorable Ferrer and the Honorable Aquino. The Honorable Manuel. The chair in objections. Committee report is adopted.
Mr. Chair,
I think the Honorable Tortines on this.
hopefully, Mr. Chair, sana before you will make any voting, Mr. Chair, I'd like to request a time or chance to explain our side, Mr. Chair.
May hirit pa
before
siya,
we consider
Tolentino.
voting, I'd like to request all the members to just read our position paper, Mr. Chair, and consider our position paper, because in pursuant to the due process clause, Mr. Chair, give us chance to explain and consider also our position paper before making any voting, Mr. Chair.
Papunta na yun sa plenaryo for voting. Kasi committee ho ito eh. Gagawa ng committee report, dadalhin sa plenaryo.
I know, Mr. Chair, that's why
For voting yan.
It's already been casted. There's an approval, and we take note of your request. But I just like to inform you, because you submitted your position paper 30 minutes before this hearing. That's why Mr. Chair had no time to distribute all of that.
Late kasi yung mga dokumento eh.
So after this hearing, we will be giving all members a copy of the position paper that you wrote, which is basically a summary of everything that you said in the previous hearings as you manifested earlier. Mr. Chair, kayo bro sabing lahat yun nasabi nyo na eh.
Our position paper will become useless if you have you admit, Mr. Chair, that you have no more time to study and make a voting. That's why I'm asking, before you vote, Mr. Chair, at least 1 week, Mr. Chair, to give all the members a chance to read our position paper.
Mr. Chair,
Attorney Wee.
if I may.
May hirit pa ho.
Yes.
Pero approve na ng committee yung ano eh.
I mean, that's
yung motion
also fair, because there's no way for us to be able to distribute and for all members to study that. First of all, your position paper was just basically things that you already said in the past. So we've taken note of that in the
Our request, Mr. Chair, is based on the due process clause of the Philippine Constitution, and we believe the franchise of SMNI is still protected by the due process clause of the Philippine Constitution.
That's why that is the very reason why we had 6 hearings. We said 5. You corrected us earlier. You said it was 6 hearings, not only 5 hearings. Thank you for the correction. And I think that is already very clear as far as our wanting to give this process to observe due process in this particular hearing. Pagay ko naman po, November pa po natin pinag-uusapan, Marso na po na yun, ang dami na po natin pagkakataon, i-submit po lahat yan. And it is sad to note that you submitted this document to us 30 minutes before this hearing, Mr. Chair, which we find truly unfair.
We submit the sound discretion of this honorable committee, but we still stand with our position, Mr. Chair.
Your stand is requested. Your stand is noted, and we request that the COMSEC be directed to submit and distribute all those documents which were submitted 30 minutes today, 30 minutes before this hearing. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, a very short.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Honorable Janet Karin.
Yeah. Mr. Chair, for the information of Attorney Mark Tolentino, I believe with the permission of the chair and the August body, the position report, the position paper can actually be submitted to all members of Congress. Anyway, after the committee report, this will still be tackled in the plenary. And for that reason, Mr. Chair, I believe there is still
magkakaroon ng voting yan eh. Butuhan po sa plenarya. Doon ang final decision. Committee report lang ang pinag-usapan. Then sa floor, doon ang final decision. Para yung resolution na pagsuspindi ng SMNI, approve sa committee, dinala sa floor, nag-debate sila ron, inapruba ng buong Congress. Kaya nasuspindi ang SMNI. Ito naman ganoon din. Yung revocation or pag-revoke ng prangkisa, Gagawin na, approve na sa committee, gagawa ng committee report, dadalhin sa plenaryo for debate, for approval ng buong Congress. Pero wala akong nag-oppose kahit isa eh. So malamang matuluyan na talaga tuloy-tuloy. Approve na ho sa committee. Committee report na ho pinag-uusapan. Umaapila lang yung mga lawyer ng SMNI na kung pwede paka-review ulit yung kanilang position paper bago magkaroon ng final approval sa floor. Pero sa committee, tapos na ho. Approve na.
I make a final appeal.
Ayan, final appeal na naman dito, Pasio.
The implementation of the contempt order until after I have advised my client. That is
Wala na, may contempt na order na eh. Hindi na mababawi yun.
Just a few days. And maybe we can submit something to clarify our position. And then if it's still the pleasure of the body to continue with it.
Ito Pasio na apila pa. Pero approve na eh. Hindi na pwedeng bawiin yun. Umuwi na nga yung mga congressman. No?
A deferment, not a revocation of the order of contempt, Your Honor. Just a few days. If this committee can find it.
Wala, tingnan natin kung pagbibigyan. Pero wala na eh. Approve na yung...
And what we expect in that 3 or 5 days? What do we expect?
I will, as I intimated to this honorable body, because I cannot lie to it, I'm under oath, I will be seeing my client tomorrow and I will try to advise him with respect to the order, Your Honor. I will give it my best good faith effort, and I say it's not
Takot
only
makulong
under
ha.
my own
Ayaw niyo ma-arresto si Quiboloy. Eh, abogado siya eh. Okay lang yan. Trabaho ng lawyer.
So, the day after tomorrow, we will expect you and Pastor Quiboloy to be present in Congress.
I will advise him.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that will be if you ask me about the consideration, that will be the requirements for us to defend.
Well, of course, I cannot, with respect to that, I cannot speak for the group pastor, but Your Honor, I will be seeing him and I will be advising him accordingly, Your Honors.
Attorney Topacio, let's make this clear.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so we will 5 days. So
Yes, Your Honor.
5 days from now, if we do not hear from you, then we can now
Yun, binigyan pa ng 5 days.
implement.
Pero tahimik
Yes,
siya,
Your
no?
Honor.
Pimentel, siya nag-motion yan.
Whatever the result is, out of courtesy to the chairman, I will seek an audience with the honorable chairman to report to him.
Okay.
As a matter of courtesy.
So there's no, yes, thank you very much. Anyway, so there's no withdrawal, no deferment. All we're asking is the implementation. So kung pwede, we wait for 5 days, we hear from you. I think that's the request, huh? I think that's be clear as kung ano
Yes,
po
yes, Your Honor.
request.
Merit ng 5 days. 5 days para hindi mahuli. Para hindi hulihin.
Yes. Yes, the March 18 will be the final. Mr. Chair, here before March 18, Honorable Pimentel.
Yan na, yun yung motion eh.
It's only a food for thought for all of us. Although it's hypothetical. However, Attorney Topacio might be asking for a furlough, for a 5-day furlough, but we know very well that Pastor Quiboloy at this point in time is already a flight risk. So baka naman humingi ni Pastor Quiboloy to give time so that Attorney Topacio, humingi ng palugit para makaalis na si Pastor
Para tumakas, gano'n?
Hindi pa there are already rumors. So, it would be a dangerous precedent on our part. Yun lang, Mr. Chair. I think dapat pag-isipan natin
Ito si Paduano kasi, parang nakaka-interest pa eh. Ayan. Mga pila si Pimentel kasi siya yung author ng ano. Contempt.
Pwede siya umalis. Unless, of course, that we issue or we request a whole departure order from immigration, considering that we have already issued a contempt order and there is already a request for search warrant, or rather an arrest warrant from the Sergeant of Arms, and then there is a pending again subpoena or contempt from Senate. So dalawang chamber ito, hindi na natin maayos yung Attorney Topacio that at this point in time si Pastor Quiboloy nag-iisip na rin niya na tatakas. Hindi na nga nagpapikita. Sa social media, he issued statement incognito. So, yun lang po ang dapat pag-isipan po natin, Mr. Chair.
Po hearing natin. Pwede po ba after your hearing tomorrow, can we hear from you?
At nasa Davao po ako, I'll be back on Thursday, Your Honor.
Yeah, but Mr. Chair,
I can call Your Honor.
You can call us when? On Thursday?
Yes, Your
So
Honor.
what today's Tuesday?
Yes, sir.
You meet with him Wednesday. Thursday, you can.
Mr. Chair,
At the latest Friday, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
yes, Tony Topacio said earlier that you'll be meeting with Pastor Quiboloy tomorrow. So why will we give him 5 days? Siguro pa na kami until tomorrow.
Okay, we'll give you up to Thursday.
Your
Fair
Honor,
enough.
with respect to the apprehension that you will be pleading, there's already a legal bulletin, Your Honor, issued, directed from the DOJ to the immigration.
Okay,
So,
that's why,
and
and maybe we can also say that if he wanted to really leave, he would have left already.
actually, Your Honor, I was about to say that. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, could you give me at least until Friday?
Okay, we will give you the deadline. With the permission of the move-on and those that have seconded, is there
Ano ba yun?
do you have any
Tuesday
objections to
hanggang
giving
Friday?
him up to Friday?
Yun.
If there are none, then therefore your request is granted that the implementation will commence after Friday. On Friday.
I will personally call on the Honorable Chairman to report.
Yes. And if you wish to write the committee a letter to it, you may feel free to do so.
Thank you, Your
And if
Honor.
you can do it early than Friday, it will be much appreciated.
Yes, not later than Friday.
Yes.
It will be earlier, Your Honor.
Yes.
Yun. Yan, may pag-asa pa
I
sila.
appreciate the gesture of the committee.
Okay.
Thank you.
Binigyan ng komite ng pagkakataon hanggang Friday.
So that is clear that the
After Friday,
chargers stay, but we will give them 3 days after his one-on-one meeting with Pastor Quiboloy in Davao.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Your
very
Honor.
much.
Mr. Chairman, I move to adjourn.
There's a motion to adjourn, duly seconded.
Ayun
The
na,
chair of the
ayun.
session-
Ayun
the
na.
session is adjourned.
So ayun nakahirit si Topacio. Humingi siya ng hanggang Friday, hindi 5 days. Ano ngayon? Tuesday, so ilang araw. At after Friday, pag hindi malinaw ang desisyon na siya ay magpakita sa Kongreso, ay tuloy pa rin yung contempt at warrant of yung pag-aresto sa kanya ng Kongreso. Ayan po. At least may pahabol na ganun pa. Pero nagduda si Pimentel, baka nahingi ka ng 5 days, pero napaplano niya yata tumakas. Parang ganun. Sabi ni Topacio. So nakataya ang pangalan ni Topacio as lawyer. Pero yun po, yun ang major development. Kanina, kinontempt, inutusan ng makipag-coordinate sa PNP para dalhin si Quiboloy dito sa Kongreso. Pero ngayon, umapila si Topacio sa huling hirit, pinagbigyan naman hanggang Friday. Nandyan pa rin yung contempt, nandyan pa rin po yung hindi naman withdraw yung motion, pero consideration, binibigyan ng pagkakataon until Friday. After Friday, pag hindi nakumbinsi ni Topacio na magpakita sa Kongreso si Quiboloy, tuloy ang pag-aresto. Ayun, yan ang malinaw. Pero kanina, inamin na rin ni Topacio, siya nag-advise na huwag magpunta ng Kongreso, di ba? Kaya talaga na, consideration ho pinalabas. Pero, ito pa yung isang nangyari, Yan ang medyo, kaya kailangan bantayan talaga, grabe yung nangyayari. Yung isang nangyari, nga po, approve na, walang nag-oppose kahit isa na i-revoke ang prangkisa sa komite. Approve na sa komite, gagawa na ng committee report, dadalhin sa plenaryo for approval. Ganun po ang ginagawa dyan sa Congress. Resolution, iimbestigahan, tapos committee report, after committee report, dadalhin sa plenaryo para ang buong Congress ang magde-decide. Katulad nung, kung yung mapapansin, yung resolution ni Congressman Nograles, inaatasan niya NTC na suspindihin ang SMNI. Approve sa komite, dinala sa floor, pagdating sa floor, wala man lang, approve din. Kaya ang bilis, na-approve ng buong Kongreso, kaya pinatupad yung suspension ng NTC. Ito, ganun din po ang mangyari dyan. Tapos na sa floor yung revocation, committee report ang gagawin, then dadalhin sa plenary yan. Ayun. Okay, pero hanggang Friday, at least mayroon pang ilang araw. Hindi pa siya pwedeng arestuhin ngayon hanggang Friday. Kasi nangako si Topacio na makikipagkita kay Quiboloy bukas sa Davao para kumbinsihin na siya surrender o siya magpunta sa Congress. Kung hindi, after Friday, ay wala tayong magagawa. Huhulihin talaga. Kasi may yung motion, hindi naman binawi. Motion to contempt, tapos pina-arrest na, hindi binawi yung dalawang motion. Motion ni Pimentel at saka ni Paduano, isang motion to contempt at motion to arrest, hindi yun binawi. consideration lang, inulit ko, hanggang Friday, so may pag-asa pa na hindi sila mahuli, hindi siya ipakulong. Kung lalabas. Pero kung hindi, abay, wala tayong magagawa. No one is above the law. Di ba? Ayan. Okay? Yan o. Naku, tindi nitong nangyaring ito. Ha? Mabuti lang ho at nandiyan kayo at kasama ko sa paking. Wala akong personalan ito. Trabaho lang ito. Pinarinig ko sa inyo ang lahat ng pinag-usapan. Hindi ko lang pinakita yung video kabuuan kasi ayaw ko ng copyright. Kasi yung Congress, kahit na sa kanila yan, may copyright din sila. May power sila doon sa copyright na magreklamo. Pero yung audio, hindi naman siguro tayo ka-copyright dyan. Audio lang ho yung aking pinarinig. Akin naman ho, pinapaliwanag yung mga nangyari. At nadinig naman ninyo. Ayan po, mabilis ang galawan sa Kongreso. Sa Senado, ngayong araw na ito, matatapos yung 7 days. Pag hindi nakuha ni Padilla, yung 7 days, 8 signature para kontrahin yung kay ruling ng chairman, Contempt, arestuhin din si Quiboloy. So, kung naku, sunod-sunod itong problema, wala tayong magagawa. Yan ho talaga Ha? Kahit na sangkatutak yung mga abogado at saka yung mga kinatawan ng Smni, pero hindi ho na-justify. May mga discrepancy ho sa date, kung paano nag-transfer ng mga manager at kung ano-ano, hindi ho na-compare, hindi ho na-convince ang committee. Kaya ho, malinaw na paglabag daw sa Section 4, Section 10, Section 11 yata, at saka Section 12 ng Republic Act 11422. Yun po yung franchise law ng SMNI, Sunshine Media Network International, o mas kilala yung Suarez Corporation, yun po yung may prangkisa. Nako, sige ng oras na. Ganyan talaga trabaho natin. Walang kainan. Anong oras na ba? Alas 3:50 na pala. 4 na. Hapunan na ito. Anyway, kanina po, no ha? God is good all the time. Salamat po sa lahat ng ating kasama na live, napuyat. Nako, pasensya na, napuyat ko kayo. Iba-iba yung oras sa Amerika, Canada, sa buong Europe, sa lahat ng ating mga bansang sa Middle East, sa iba pa, mga busy kayo, pero naksumama pa rin kayo. Dami hong nanonood. Salamat po sa inyong pagtitiwala. Trabaho lang ito, walang personalan. At least, pinararating ko sa inyo ang mga major development na mga balita sa Kongreso, Senado, at sa Pilipinas. God is good all the time. Lord, save the Philippines. Babay muna po, pansamantala. Thank you.